take first watch.
Hello, and welcome back with an all-new episode of the First Watch podcast. I'm Zach, and I'm here with Cole, and I'm also here with Morgan, and we're also on camera, which is brand new for all of us on this particular program. This is a resurrection of sorts, one of a few different resurrections. The truth is, around here, we're a bunch of amateurs, which means that nobody pays us to do this. We do it because we like doing it. We do it because it's fun, which also means sometimes we don't do it because it doesn't sound like fun at all. But lately, as we hit the summer months and a particularly busy August that is upcoming and kicking it off tomorrow for all of us, we are really looking forward to the actually really good part of the movie calendar, not the Megan 2.0 part of the movie calendar, but part of the process of being a movie podcaster is sometimes you got to talk about Megan 2.0. So here we are to talk about things of that nature. Here to talk about Pedro Pascal, here to talk about Marvel, here to talk about DC, here to talk about Star Wars, here to see how long I can talk about those things until Cole decides to kill me. Uh, we're back, boys.
It's never been more back.
Yeah. Call this the Legacy sequel.
It's been long enough.
Just call it First Watch. Drop the
Yeah.
"the." It's cleaner.
Starring
What?
Jeremy Strong and Mikey Madison and Jeremy Allen White. Allegedly. Allegedly.
I just need him to stop getting my people. Get your people from somewhere else if you're going to waste this time making a sequel to David Fincher's own Social Network.
Eisenberg to Jeremy Allen White is a crazy transition.
Well, it's Eisenberg to Strong.
Oh, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. That's
Wait,
weirder.
and that makes less sense.
That's weirder.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is
Like,
Morgan's bright idea.
Sorry, does he realize that the same amount of time has passed in Jesse Eisenberg's life that it has for Mark Zuckerberg's? Like he's it's
But
it's it's 15 years later, no matter what. Like,
Eisenberg didn't want to come back.
Yeah, I don't
well,
blame
I
him.
mean, fucking yeah.
I think he's done these interviews where people will ask him, do you feel, in any way like, kind of responsible or like connected to this guy? And he's like, no, what the f I'm an actor. What are you talking
Oh, I
about?
got I
So,
got paid I got paid to say words. Please leave me alone. You were saying,
yes, so this was Morgan, your idea essentially. So, if you have any words of a mission statement, a charter, an objective, a star path, if you will.
yeah, this basically came to me because uh James and T is dead and buried, and God rest its soul, we had a good run. Uh, and Jen and Jake are doing their very entertaining, bizarre adventure series. But the channel was and remains a sort of place where those of us that were a part of it can sort of conglomerate and produce their own, you know, commentary on what they find interesting. And I've always loved being a guest on the First Watch podcast. Done that many times, and I thought, what better way to get back into the podcast game than to resurrect my old friends? And so here we
Yes.
are in a new format as well, including video.
Yeah, very grateful for that. I
Mhm.
think both Cole and I, we'll watch some new movie. I'm sure we could dredge up an example from June, or whether it's all the way back to Sinners, where we just find ourselves chatting to each other over text. It's like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
if there was a microphone capturing all of this, it would be a podcast.
Right.
So it's
Yes.
we're always doing it, even if we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Let me
No
tell you what
doubt.
all my opinions on Conclave are.
Oh, let's not bring up last Oscar season.
Yeah, so really, I think we're sort of tipping, as I sort of implied earlier, we're tipping over that point in the calendar where things get really interesting. We've got Together out right now, sort of, we don't know, Chaos pick, mixed reviews. We've got the Zach Krager's coming out real soon with
Next
Weapons.
week.
We got a new Ethan Cohen and his lesbian wife collab coming out. What are the other two that I'm missing? There's two more.
There's a Naked Gun.
Nate,
Yeah.
well, that's not one of the ones I was thinking of. Not neither
Comedy legal again.
neither was Nobody 2, but that's another one. And I feel like there's two more. I would have to look. But anyway, point is, we're getting there. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about what's transpired so far here at the end of July as we're about to get into August. I don't have a whole lot to bring to the conversation that these two won't bring up, although I'll shout a couple things. Right now, in repertory theaters across the country, we are doing an Akira Kurosawa 4K restoration series, which is pretty cool. Some of these movies that we're playing here in Dallas at the Texas Theater, I've seen on 35 millimeter before. It's like a pretty I don't mean this in a critical way. It's the classics. It's the hits. It's the stuff that plays at repertory screenings a lot. But I did get to go see Stray Dog, which I've never seen before, which is a unique one for him. It's 1949. And even though he's maybe the most famous and prolific and imitated Japanese artist of the post-war, you don't really think of Kurosawa as a post-war director. At least not on the level of like Masaki Kobayashi with the Human Condition trilogy and like Harakiri, right? Harakiri is just like a total post-war scathing indictment of the culture. But you don't think of that with Kurosawa, but this 1949, it's a detective noir and it is all about the after the American occupation, the change of culture, the change of styles, the places people are, and that sort of pivotal decision that exists in the heart of each person of like, what are you going to do now that you're living in the future? And there's something I think kind of as I reach this age in my life and as we reach, 2025, where you can watch that and you sort of feel like your generation's having that moment that this character's having, like we're just in this fraught place of like, okay, what are you going to do with your life though? Also, very hot, sweaty, sweltering summertime movie. So that was really accurate for me because it's triple digits here. Um, and then otherwise, not a television or not a movie, but I have been watching a television show, my second of the year. I watched Barry Jenkins' Underground Railroad finally. I finally did it. I finally did it. It was on my list since it came out, and I finally did it. And I also started watching Andor at the behest of our good friend Adam, who lent me his 4K copy of it. So I'm finally watching a new Star Wars thing for the first time since 2019. It's a brave new world, which is the brave old world.
Yeah, very, very literally. It's yet another uh, sandwiched between Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars type thing.
It
Um, seasons.
immensely
Yeah.
better. I rewatched a bunch of Star Wars earlier this year. I don't know why. I guess it was Revenge of the Sith played in theaters for the
It did.
Yeah.
anniversary, 20th. I didn't go see it, but that may have had something to do with what sparked my interest in rewatching a lot of them. And one of the things that I did there is I watched Rogue One and I watched Solo.
Ugh.
And I just go back to Rogue One and I'm like, man, the appeal of this, just like I get it. I get the direction. It's not there. And then you watch Andor and you're like, that's it. That's the direction. That's the Gilroy. I see it.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue One was, you know, suffered from five people have had their passes at this, and
Right.
Tony Gilroy's was the last one that stuck.
Yeah.
And then even beyond that, there were uh, heaps of reshoots. So
Hmm.
I also rewatched it after finishing season two of Andor. Uh, which, if you don't know, season two of Andor ends and then pretty much immediately goes into the happenings of Rogue One. So we did it that way. We did season two of Andor, Rogue One, and then A New Hope, and then we just went through all of them except the sequels. We haven't done the sequels yet.
I'm in
We
the
might
same
not
exact boat,
we might not do the sequels because there's a giant turd waiting at the end of that run.
hanging off the
Um,
end of the butthole.
just really like the dingleberries off of your old
Uh-huh.
dog that
Yeah.
needs to be put down. It's really
Yeah.
unsightly. So yeah, it's wild to me how much more complete and holistic Rogue
Hmm.
One feels,
And what's
or Andor
interesting,
feels versus Rogue One.
I haven't seen but like one or two episodes of Mandalorian. I've seen enough clips of it to have an impression. I've seen clips and stills of other things that all make you think like, oh yeah, these are television streaming projects, not to the production level of a movie. This feels to the production level of a movie, which is a little bit like, huh,
Totally.
You could be doing
Uh,
this the whole time because they're all made at the same place with the same money. Like,
and it really is like I am almost certain that all of these had around the same budget. At least the first season of Andor, maybe it may have even had a little less.
right.
So what that indicates to me is that this is show run and directed by really talented people,
Yeah.
and maybe the other ones are not so much.
Yeah, there's definitely a degree to which some of the Star Wars stuff sticks out, maybe doesn't feel tonally congruent with everything the show's going for, but I also think it's, and this might make Cole shudder a little bit inside. It's kind of a Batman Begins, you know? I'm not
Yeah,
comparing them quality level wise, but just that like we need to put some thought into this one. We need to bring it back because we've lost the mandate. Like people aren't into what we're doing right now. We
yeah,
need to we need to course correct. At the same time, and I guess this would connect with Nolan's movies. They are not a foundation that you're going to build off of. This is one and done. It's over. Like unless they
yeah.
come up with a third season of not Andor, but like the same showrunners doing other characters in the times of Luke Skywalker or whatever they're trying to go for.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe like the origin of the First Order is insanely vague and like not at all expounded upon. So I think there could be room there.
Hmm.
Uh, one, I'm absolutely certain that Tony Gilroy has no interest in doing that.
Right.
So I am also less interested inherently. And two, I doubt them that they have any interest in revisiting like sequel territory
Right.
anytime soon.
Right. So it's a new tonal direction that really works for Star Wars. Unfortunately, for the good folks over at Lucasfilm, it's not the way forward. Like it's not
Yeah.
you're not gonna make the Mandalorian and Grogu movie out of this stuff. You already tried it. It was Rogue One. It's already been done. Made a bunch of money and it's over now. So
Yep.
yeah, kind of a one-off like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 kind of vibes. Like, yeah, one good thing got out of there right at the end. So yeah, with that, so Colt, you want to give us our summer diagnostic?
Yeah, so this has been a pretty interesting summer in that the superheroes are no longer on top of the world. They have really, really fallen from grace in terms of things. I mean, the big hits have been Lilo and Stitch, the
Yeah.
remake, which kicked off
Hmm.
the summer, made $1 billion. Big pile of dog shit. Awful,
Did not
awful,
see.
awful
Did
movie.
not see. Hard skip.
Hard skip.
Love a movie in which, they give away Lilo to the government at the end so she can go study and be a girl boss. I don't know. But she has like a Portal 2 gun, so it's okay.
I
She could
think
have
if me and I think if me and Zach got started on that, we'd be here for an extra 45 minutes longer than we had to.
It's a
And
movie I would
that's
half star. I'm certain of it.
yeah.
Doesn't matter how good it was, like how fundamental like things were done. It's from the director of Marcel the Shell with Shoes on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, nope, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to be angry about a movie for children,
Yeah.
and I would be.
Chris Sanders is having a good summer because of that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
How to Train Your Dragon, the remake,
right.
which is like almost Gus Van Sant levels of just shot for shot,
Yeah.
doing the same exact thing over again, but just making it 30 minutes longer for
Yeah, I
some
was
reason.
about to say it's like a half hour longer
Hmm.
somehow.
And then Dean DeBlois, right? Isn't he
Yeah.
in that mix too? Of those
Yes,
He
two being
he, he
hits.
directed the
he's
live
in the
action one.
mix.
I just like I get it. We actually discussed this a little bit last night as we were sitting around watching Marvel slop together.
Odd.
And I think that it's they've made Stitch the most popular damn Disney toy of the last 20 plus years. You see the plush everywhere. You see him on the shirts. You see him on the towels. You see him hanging in cars. And then I had this moment of like driving down the road. I'm passing like a Burger King, and it's like we have How to Train Your Dragon toys, with the Burger King Happy Meal equivalent, whatever they call it over there, non-union stuff. All of that is it's just similar to Star Wars. It's just like a merchandise propagation machine. I think that's as close as I can explain to like why it works, why they want it to work. Like it's just, here comes Moana. We're gonna sell the Moana toys because it's Moana season. now it's Zootopia season, and now it's this, and now it's that. How do we support our new Universal Park, but with more Mario movies?
Yeah, and there is a Isle of Burke in the new Universal Park in Florida. So there you go. It's advertisement for the new park. Uh,
The mind boggles.
it, it,
People
it
got mad at Martin Scorsese for using the phrase theme park movies, and yet could he have been more dead on the money? Could he have been more dead on the money?
No, he was right. He was right. It's not as actively atrocious as any of the Disney remakes, but it is utterly, utterly mediocre.
Did you skip this one too, Morgan? These were
Oh
both
yeah.
skips for me. Yeah, this is like, no, I'm good. I don't even
Both
really
re
love How to Train Your Dragon. Like it's
yes,
good, but a little after my time.
I will be skipping a live action remake for movies that I do not care about. Uh, I am certainly not going to be seated for two live action remakes of movies that I hold very dear.
Yeah,
It's just not, I am too old. I'm too
yeah,
old for this.
yeah.
And of course, Universal is also keeping up the mediocrity of the summer with the other
Yeah.
big
Mhm.
Blizzard movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, the seventh entry in the Jurassic Park franchise.
The rare
Although,
Zach triple skip. Nope, nope,
although
nope.
there's more world movies than park movies now, so is it the Jurassic World series or
I don't care for that.
was it
The
I,
Jurassic Park movies aren't even good, but I still don't care for that.
which is it's competent, I
no, it
guess.
isn't. No, no, it isn't. I'm sorry. I, I did see this one. I completely intended to skip it, but I started a sort of Thursday night, or at least midweek movie going tradition with a group of friends. And
Hmm.
this was the movie that we were going to see that week. And so I tagged along okay, so some things that I'll set out of the ground set. I don't get up to pee during movies. I did not get up during the intermission for The Brutalist. I don't, it's not a thing that I do. I got up to pee during this movie, and then while I was up, I went and got a pretzel and a drink just to make sure I was skipping a little more of the movie. Uh, because the thing is that you've seen this movie 6 times already. Um,
Every
and
Jurassic Park sequel is either Jurassic Park 2 or Jurassic Park 3. These are the
uh-huh,
two archetypes that they know.
and this is the worst one I've seen. I hard skipped Fallen Kingdom and that other one. Uh,
Dominion. Dominion
yeah.
is the most pissed off I've ever been about watching a movie for this podcast. Like
Uh,
truly just I wasted
I
my Sunday on this shit.
I've seen about 40 minutes of Dominion on TV because I didn't have the nerve to ask the house owners to change the channel. And I have no doubt that that movie's worse than Jurassic World Rebirth.
It's
But
worse.
I also found Rebirth unbelievably lazy and uninspired. Uh, it's not even a good merchandising operation. The dinosaurs, the mutant new dinosaurs that are introduced are barely seen and utterly unmemorable when you do see them. Um, but what the fuck do I know? What does this movie make? Like 800 million?
Uh, I think it's at 750 right now.
Yeah.
Not going to hit
China
that again, but
China is so out on the United States that they're not even really eating up Jurassic Park at the same level anymore, which is crazy.
yeah, it's still doing.
They're done with our asses.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one exception they'll make, and that's coming later this year.
Yeah, correct. That's true. That's a
Well, yeah.
Canadian. He's a Canadian.
Yeah,
He's
that's true.
Canadian. It's filmed in New Zealand.
It's just different enough that it works. But yeah, no, I thought Rebirth was just terribly, terribly dull. I mean, the cast just a whole bunch of nothing. It's Scarlett Johansson just standing there.
Gareth Edwards, a man with zero imagination.
None.
Competent,
Nothing going
decent
on
with a
up there.
camera, good. He would probably be a wonderful production designer,
Hmm.
which is maybe zero imagination is not quite what I want to say because it's not. It's just I don't quite know. He's just fucking vanilla as a
There's just no
storyteller.
sauce.
He's a
Yeah,
There's
hired hand.
he
Yeah.
is. Yeah, he is. And I think like he's gotten this rep for being budget Villeneuve. Like, we can do scale, but like truly these movies don't cost like an exorbitant amount of money. So I can
Mhm.
totally see him uncorking some pretty competent, good to scale Dino Mayhem, but I know in my heart there is not an idea here,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, no, so I remember when this movie got announced and it announced the director, and I was like, that is exactly the lane that he needs to be in, where I can fully ignore him. And then lo and behold, I end up seeing this fucking movie.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
what are
it
you gonna
should
do?
be
Scarlett,
good.
I think I hate Scarlett Johansson. I think I'm at that point where I'm just like, never let me see you again. I'm
Yeah.
over you entirely.
Let's get into the inanities of the plot for just a second. Entertain me.
Yeah.
So this
Uh-huh.
movie's about a group of mercenaries who go to the fifth or sixth fucking island in this island chain that no one
right.
talked about until now, where like all the experiments went wrong. It's
Which
like the
amazing. Wow.
the, the raptors are basically dragons, and the T-Rex has like six limbs and a beluga whale head, and it kind of looks like a xenomorph a little bit, but like
There's a
stupid.
little bit of Alien Queen going on there with the tiny hands.
hmm So they go to this island to collect blood samples from the Titanosaurus, the Mosasaurus, and the Quetzalcoatlus for some kind of miracle drug that will give people with heart disease an extra 20 years to live. And then they also pick up a family of a single dad, his two daughters, and the older daughter's boyfriend along the way, because the dude was dumb enough to sail through mosasaur infested waters.
Yeah,
Great
it
job.
says it
Gotta
is
be.
explicitly like there are mosasauruses in these waters. This is like a worldwide known fact. And dude is like, I take my boat and my family out to these dinosaur infested waters.
And of course, there's the shady businessman, and there's the paleontologist who cares a little bit too much still and can get swept up in it, played by Jonathan Bailey with slutty low glasses.
Hate
Uh,
that haircut. Hate Don't like that haircut. Don't like the David Corn sweat haircut. Not to jump ahead too far, but like the whole like shape, like dude, just grow it. I'm not saying everybody's got to grow it out. I'm just saying I don't like it on you. I like the wicked hair a lot better. It's my opinion.
yeah.
One guy's thoughts and feelings.
I also just have to say very briefly that many a discussion has been had about Jim Cameron's Aliens between the three of us.
That's true.
One
Yeah,
of the things
usually
that
me yelling at both of you.
Yeah.
yeah, one of the things that I do unabashedly adore about that movie is Paul Reiser's Burke. And it is because of movies like Jurassic World Rebirth that I regret that character was ever introduced. Because
Yeah.
every single movie like this has to have a Burke who gets eaten. Even Jurassic Park 1 suffers from this.
Right, the
And
lawyer.
it's like fine there, but it could completely be cut from the movie and nothing would be different.
Yeah.
And it works in Aliens where it's anti-worker cyberpunk dystopia set on an intergalactic scale. It it does not work in Jurassic Park, where the entire conceit of the story is, hey, maybe corporations went a little too far.
Right.
Hmm.
You
That's
don't
sort
need
of
that.
Yeah.
I understand the desire to continue to hold on to the theme of genetic experimentation and taking things too far and like expanding on that, but you're really just repeating it or like turning it 5 degrees in one direction and saying, okay, it's exactly the same, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, but like it was always about this. It was never about anything but this. This is not a new development in any way. To me, like you just if you make a sequel, you have to expand the canvas if you're trying to do it on the basis of ideas, or you just have to make like a banger, which doesn't seem hard to me
You
to
really
make
wouldn't think
just a
so.
banger, just
It's
like a
very hard
little.
to do that in this franchise, apparently.
It seems like I feel like a lot, not to stake it all on this, but the runtimes don't help. Like
Yeah.
a good dinosaur carnage movie is 88 minutes long.
I mean, thank God this is shorter than Dominion, which
Yeah,
2.5 fucking hours in nonsense. But
yeah, good riddance.
yeah,
May it never see a billion. Just die.
Yeah, I
it
mean,
won't. But enough goodwill has been built up that I'm sure we'll get 8, 9, and 10 along the line of the next decade or so.
Do you think they'll ever cross over with the Fast and Furious franchise?
I
hmm.
think the less said about Fast and Furious, the better, especially considering everything that has happened in the last few years with Vin Diesel. So
I just
I,
think
I
that
don't think they're going to make a movie where the family, learns about sexual harassment. So
um I just
We don't
think
have
that
time to unpack all of that.
yeah. I just think that if you made like Neil Marshall's Dog Soldiers, but with dinosaurs,
mhm.
you would have the highest grossing R-rated movie ever.
Right. The
So I
Dan
don't,
Trachtenberg method.
yeah,
I
I don't,
saw a trailer for something like that, but it was a Fathom event.
mm, don't like that. Uh,
Bad
the point
sign.
is, if you put Jurassic World or Jurassic Park on the tin of a horrifically gory dinosaur movie, you would print money just the same
Yeah.
as you would with the rest of these films. And I'm not even saying that that would be all that good, because I mean, like the best you could hope for of that is like a light 7 out of 10 at the very best. But it would be different. And Rebirth is like scene by scene the movie you have seen already.
Mhm.
Now with Altoids.
What the fuck was that, man? It's like we need something to characterize Jonathan Bailey in something, so we're gonna make him chew mints loudly. I'm like, what? Who is writing this?
He's Steger from In the Heat of the Night, chewing that bubble gum
Oh God.
all the way to the Oscar, baby.
I don't think so. Not with this movie.
Seems
Um,
I just
unlikely.
met Rod.
no, but Jurassic did emerge as the July champion of the box office. July was actually the first time since May 2007 that free movies have opened to more than $100 million.
What's the
Wow.
third? How to Train Your
Fantastic Four?
Dragon.
No, Fantastic Four,
Oh,
Superman,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Jurassic.
I knew Superman and
Yeah,
Jurassic, obviously. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, circling back
Yeah,
to
Fantastic Four. It is still July, so yes, I guess that is a July release.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, for
Feels like
like
it
3
already
more
happened
hours.
7 years ago, but we'll
I
get
mean,
there.
half the world forgot about it already, but we'll circle back.
We'll get there.
The other movie that's been, lapping circles around the superhero movies is F1,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
the Brad Pitt F Formula One racing movie, which is solid.
I am part of a chosen elite of people who prefer this movie to Top Gun Maverick.
That's your
Elite
choice.
is an interesting word. Uh,
That is your choice.
Yes, it is. It is my choice.
I, I, I,
A
I
movie
totally
with
get, I totally understand the cargo vroom better than plain go wah.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just, it,
Too bad there's
yeah.
so much Brad Pitt talking.
It is a rather long movie. What I will say, I can't remember if I did this one in Dolby or IMAX. I think IMAX and like just truly cargo vroom very, very big.
Maybe it didn't
Yeah.
help that I saw it at 11 p.m.
Well, and it's long. So you're
Yeah.
just like, ugh. Although I find the last race, but really the last like 20 to 30 minutes pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I would say right as of now, I would put it well below Michael Mann's Ferrari. I would probably also put it on par with Ford versus Ferrari. I don't, like those are similar.
Hmm.
And then like I guess Rush, they're all sort of circling around different things. Of all of them, the biggest indictment compared to something like Rush, and I know this bothered our good friend Davy Peppers. The logo of the movie on the poster is the branded F1 logo. So there's only so much criticism that's gonna come out of this,
Yeah.
right? This is basically like what's the TV show on Netflix? It's like Drive to Survive or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like the movie counterpart of that, where the idea is like, look, it's Max von whatever that guy's name is. Sorry for not knowing this, F1 fans. It's Max something.
I mean, there's all the cameos in this movie from like Lewis Hamilton and
Right.
Leclerc and everybody else.
Yep.
As you
Javier
can see,
Bardem,
I
hot
live
off
in a
Dune Part 2.
as you can see, I live in an F1 household, so I know I recognized all of these people while knowing very, very little about them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a very foreign sport, but that's literally true. It is actually just a very
Extremely
cosmopolitan,
European.
international,
Yeah.
and it's not something that I was ever exposed to as a kid. You know, racing for me was NASCAR. Like that's
Yeah.
the type of racing that I was exposed to, which I did not like. Um, so
Tell you what,
F1's
I
got some
liked
crazy fucking rules.
it does. Yeah. Those cars it's a sport of engineering as much as it
hmm
is like a sport
mm,
of drivers and skill in that department.
yeah,
Um, I like the part of the movie where Brad Pitt's dumbass lectures Carrie Condon's uh like aerospace engineering degree having ass about like air currents in an F1 car. It's like,
Like,
no, you have to this is like they saw people making those funny posts about driving movies where they're like, and then they press the accelerator even harder and tried to make a counter to that while not like diving into literal aerodynamic engineering. So he was also he has a scene where he's like, "Have you thought about wind currents?" Like, yeah,
right.
that's my
Well,
whole
she's
job.
the whole thing that's happening there is she's designing the current around straights. It's all about the straightforward aerodynamic. The problem with this, in addition to obviously she would have thought about other things in her career, is their team is in last place, which means that they start in the back. So you might consider that you would have to be driving in dirty air if you ever
yeah,
wanted to get out of last place.
yeah.
Ma'am,
Isn't there a character detail that she used to work for Raytheon or something like equally soul-suckingly offensive?
I thought it was like Lockheed Martin or something.
Oh yeah, Lockheed.
that would be
Yeah.
that's kind of the Kaczynski special, two in a row of like, wow, the absolute spectacle of something deeply unethical.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
least this
He,
one doesn't, I don't know, there's something in Maverick about like this is not really what keeps me from enjoying it, but at the same time, it's just an easy thing to pick on where you're like, boy, this really is just like a Lockheed Martin commercial the entire time.
no, it's icky. Um, I just like showing up for the Tom Cruise show.
Yeah. Yeah. And like this movie is also like basically like all about how, I mean, they don't go to Dubai, but this movie is spiritually Dubai.
Don't they
Yeah.
have a race in the UAE or something? Isn't one of the
Yeah.
circuits in there? I
Hmm.
think maybe the finale is
Yeah. It's the final race.
yeah, okay. But I think Kosinski, he's a hired hand, but he's clearly got talent. The driving sequences in this are genuinely very fun, very cool. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think a more lithe movie would be good. Although I wouldn't necessarily just say give me 2 solid hours of racing scenes. Just because I think that would get to be a little repetitive, but at the same time, I do think this has a good quantity of racing in it. For the runtime that it has, it's not like it's wildly disproportionate. It's giving you what you're wanting most of it, the bulk of it. It's a good dad movie. Good movie to like take a nap through parts of on TNT, and then you wake up and like the other part is like, oh yeah, cool, he's kicking ass. Let's go.
Oh well.
America.
Yeah.
Sonny. What's his name? Sonny
Hayes, Sunny
Sonny,
Hayes.
Yeah.
Sonny
What
Hayes.
a what a fucking ridiculous name.
And, and it's I just gotta say this guy's been on like the Amelia de Moldenberg thing. Uh, this Damson Idris guy has got nothing. There's
Nothing.
nothing going on there.
No.
And I have a feeling there's gonna be a push
Okay.
after this to make him something, and there's just nothing.
That almost works for his character here, where you're just like, dude, yeah, you're like, you don't have it. You're
Yeah,
not him.
he will never be capital H him.
There's a movie, capital H him, coming out later this year.
That looks really good. I'm
It
I
really
does.
intrigued by that.
I
I'm
I I
excited.
I have a feeling it might be a little bit like too into itself, a little too like music video A24-ish, but I'll see it for sure
It
because it
looks like
looks
Black Swan, but for football, so I'm sold.
Yeah.
it's like a Jordan Peele produced. Although Jordan Peele's production track record is a little like, huh.
It's suspect. Um,
It's not
yeah.
perfect.
No, but it's
Whose
cool that he can
production
throw his
track
name.
record is?
Yeah. Brad Pitt's.
That is yeah, that is actually very good. Yeah.
Yeah. The other summer movie I want to bring up and to really start the Pedro of everything going because this is
Yep.
just you're a fucking Pedro. Like I could sneeze and
Yeah.
I would Pedro on my snot.
The
It's gonna come
trio
with
plus, is there a Mando season this year? We had Tia, we had Last
no,
of Us 2. Okay.
but there
Well, that
will be The Mandalorian and Grogu hitting theaters Memorial Day
right.
2026.
So three movies plus season 2 of Last of Us.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which bad. Next question.
I like the materialists.
Yeah, well, that makes one of us, baby.
I
I
I love
had
Past
fun.
Lives. I love Past Lives. Great movie.
yeah,
I'll go to my grave saying it's a great movie against all the weirdos who think it sucks.
this was a hard skip for me. I because I found it so immediately disheartening to see this immensely talented writer and director immediately start making A24 Dakota Johnson slop. So I
Well,
was just like,
here's the thing. What she made is an 80s Woody Allen movie.
Yeah, I
and that
think
doesn't
that's
intrigue me all that much either, if
And
I'm
I
honest.
have an itch for that kind of thing, and this
I
satisfies that.
think I will say that if I went in with that sort of understanding, I would have been less bewildered by it. I like that comparison though. Um, because it is kind of
Because no one
this
wants to talk about, oh, I'm inspired by Woody Allen, but
every film critic for a 30-year period basically held him in the highest possible regard. It's what it is. We were dancing around Scarlett Johansson earlier. If you like Noah Baumbach, guess what?
yeah.
Surprise! Um, but yeah, Dakota Johnson stinks naturally. She's just never really been good, in my opinion. And I think it's not so much that I'm trying to like dig into how bad she is in the movie or something. It's more like Greta Lee, Teo Yu, John Magaro as your trio in Past Lives. Subtle but like wonderful. All three of them. The dynamics, just the whole thing kind of hinges on this one shot of the trio of them together. And you're like, yeah, that is interesting. They are interesting together. I've seen these photographs of just Teo Yu and John Magaro where I'm like, man, these guys have chemistry together in these
Hmm.
production stills. And then that makes me think of Koritsky's and all the stuff he's been over there doing with Luca Guadagnino. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means nothing. And then we get to this, and it's like Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and then like for me going into it, I'm like the guy who has the most sauce here is Chris Evans, and that's grim.
Yeah, it's not
That's
great.
fucking grim. And I would say watching it, Chris Evans is miscast 100%.
I
Both
could tell
he
that
and
from the trailer.
both he and Pascal are good to decent castings for the Pascal role. Either one of them could have done that role, and then you need John Magaro. Like that's is it Magaro Magaro? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
I couldn't
I,
tell you.
Who
Italian.
knows?
I don't know.
he should be playing the Chris Evans part because that's who the character is. He's this guy that lives in like a New York apartment with 11 roommates and he works as a catering waiter and he's like an aspiring actor on, the theater circuit, right? He
Yeah.
That's not Chris Evans, brother. I'm sorry. It's the menu problem. Like with Anya Taylor-Joy. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. With the vibe is off. The vibe is off.
I do buy Dakota Johnson as a completely airheaded matchmaker, though.
Yeah, I guess there's something in her characterization. You guys are gonna be like, what is he talking about? That reminds me of what I dislike about the Emily Blunt character in Sicario, where to me, the way that that
Not in a
character is,
million, not for $1 million. Could I have guessed where you were going with this, but continue.
there's something very naive about the way the character reacts to the conflict that emerges at the center of the story, where it's like,
Hmm.
girl, who the fuck did you think you were working for? It's like somebody at Lockheed going, wait a minute, we're bombing people with these? What do you mean? You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
that. And this incredulity about basically, without totally spoiling it, one of the matches that she makes goes awry in the way dates tend to dot 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 and then she has like and I see where sort of juking us away from the love triangle that the poster suggests into this career confrontation that touches a nerve of a real life dating issue of like women literally not being safe in dating
Mhm.
scenes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a cold left turn and something that in theory I would be for, but it just Celine's song to me really in both movies, and it's a feature in one and a bug in the other, does not like to live in confrontation. It's like this happens and you're like, "Oh no." And then it's over. Like it's resolved. Everything is resolved. All the conflict in this movie is resolved. There's a Pedro Pascal, Dakota Johnson scene in this that is hysterically funny. I don't know if intentionally. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say it's intentional.
I think it was intentionally because the way they set that up, it is comical.
But that's not to say that it's wrong to execute the scene in this way, but it's just a good example of how like there's no tension. There's no drama. It's just like bloop. It's like nothing, no resistance, no friction. And so none of the thorniness really gets to really feel like much of anything because you don't live in it. I think something that might have worked better is almost closer to like the blow up ending where she's denying it. I don't have any culpability. I'm fine, but it's slowly kind of nagging at her. She can't get it
Mhm.
out of her head. And it's just not she just has like this good Samaritan ass reaction to the whole thing. It's like, okay, all right, I can't tell if you're trying to do a moral indictment of this character or if she's a paragon of virtue. And
Yeah.
the performance sucks, so I'm not really getting any nuance in the middle of these two things.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the Materialist press tour was better than the movie itself. But
Pedro's been like a little handsy, touchy-feely with these leading ladies. People who don't know he's gay are getting really
Yeah,
up in
really.
arms about it.
people are like hilariously fucking blind. Like, do you not know a queer when you see one? Hello.
I consistently point back to what is still his greatest career performance as Oberyn Martell in season 4 of Game of Thrones, where that character's like cool in the books. He's like a hard ass. And in the show he shows up, he's like a saucy bisexual. He's like making out with people and like doing like just very flamboyant shit. It's like, yeah, these are all choices made. Just, are you sure you didn't get it? You're not nobody home? Nobody home?
But yeah, no, I did like Materialist, not as much as Past Lives, but I had a good time, and it was just nice to see a dramatic com because it's not really a rom-com. Like it was sold
Agreed.
as one, but it's really not.
Hmm.
It's more of a romantic drama with some comedy in it. It was just good to see that
For
in a
sure.
in a packed theater that was like sold
Yes.
out.
Getting people in the door, like, we can talk about the overexposure of Pedro Pascal, but I think he's a big reason why that movie did
Yeah,
like
I'm
good
pretty sure.
audiences, good crowds.
Yeah, everyone in that theater probably had at least one glass of white wine before the movie started. So, we were all in the mood.
I will say, while I was skeptical, I probably think Pedro Pascal came out the best in this. His character sort of disappears for a big chunk of the movie. He's like there, and he's not there, and he's back right at the end. And that's a little frustrating, but I thought that he just has a good presence when he leans into his charisma and away from some of the stoic behaviors. I think he actually has a lot of charm, obviously. Like, he's a clear leading man. I totally, get that. And I think that this character was maybe a little reserved, like maybe a little soft. Like we could have given him some idiosyncrasies, perhaps. He's a little sanded down, but I thought that he had some what am I trying to say? Like he's suave. He's got a little bit of that, like, oh, okay, hey, what's up, dude? I get it. I get why this is working. Besides just the money. Great apartment.
Oh my God, the apartment's so fucking nice. I would kill someone for that apartment.
Rosemary's Baby moment.
Yeah.
What else have we been catching up with?
I mean, that's pretty much it on my end. I'll let you guys take the lead on.
I have one thought. It's kind of in the past, so we can skip it or cut it if we don't like it. Any interest in talking about the return of one Danny Boyle
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh,
for
yeah.
for the first time in some years? The return of an Alex Garland movie that I liked with 28 years later. starring Aaron Taylor Johnson. Psych, just kidding. Just kidding.
I mean, he's still in a big chunk of it.
He's still in a big chunk of it, but
And too much of it, some could say.
He's good in it.
it is his career best performance. He's still not very
Agreed.
good. I'm trying to actually look up the name of the kid who's the kid because he's really
It's
good.
yeah.
Jack
The
O'Connell.
character was Spike, but that's not the actor's name.
Yeah,
No,
Jack O'Connell is that actor, and he's really the heart and
No,
soul of it.
Jack
Oh,
O'Connell's Jimmy.
Jack is yeah, Savile.
Yeah.
wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Son of a bitch. Sinner's Own.
Yeah.
Alfie Williams. My mistake. Yeah, we don't want to talk. Yeah, the way Jack O'Connell enters the film is
Mm.
quite memorable, but we'll see where that's all going later. No, great child performance. Really, very many left turns, goofy ass choices. Very much the byproduct of a Garland Boyle collaboration, but boy, formally, this thing is like off the fucking chain in a way that I was just like gleeful, giddy, dancing in my seat just whenever anything would happen.
Yeah, I don't enjoy 28 days later much at all, and that's mostly down to the look of it. Um it's just I understand what they were going for. I just found what they were going for kind of a cinematic in a way that I did not enjoy at all. And this is doing a sort of similar thing. It's just that the technology has advanced a lot more. Um, Things look a lot cleaner with higher resolution. Uh, but I also just think like the camera movement itself
Yeah,
is a lot more kinetic and
definitely.
exciting than anything in that first one. Um, Overall, I came away from the movie positive, but it's much too scatterbrained and for me inconsistent to
Yeah,
totally get on board with.
this is
Um,
like a dead center of like a 7 out of 10 with a heart for me. Of like,
yeah,
okay, this shit just took 400 swings, just kept swinging like a crazy person.
yeah, and landed like 250 of them.
Right. Yeah.
It's
I
a
would I
good
would agree.
ratio.
There's
Yeah.
like, for instance, just to give an example, there's I forget if the character is like Swedish or whatever. Whole deal of it is one, we have just decided that 28 weeks later no longer exists. We said bye. We don't care.
Probably a smart choice.
See you
Didn't
later.
never saw her. So
Great opening sequence. The rest of it's turbo mid.
yeah.
Um, the the whole bit is that the island of the United Kingdom, England, has been basically completely quarantined. We've got an isolated community living in a small island separated by a causeway. When the tide rises, the water comes up, you can't cross over it, so they're safe from the zombies. And it's sort of presented as this idyllic place, although I would say pretty definitively, over time you start to question that. Even though it's not a huge focus of the movie, because the movie does not focus on anything for all that long before moving
Yeah.
on to the next thing. But there's a character that is outside the quarantine. He does like quarantine patrol to make sure that like nobody gets off the island and tries to come to Europe
Mhm.
across the channel. And he is there for a bit. He's like a soldier that gets stuck in the area and can't leave the quarantine zone. And you're with him, and I just remember thinking like, man, this character has had more dialogue than every other character in this movie combined. I don't really love this choice, Danny. I kind of wish this guy would go away. And then he does, fucking
Hmm.
spectacularly. So like there's if there's ever something bad that it throws at you, it's like that's over in 5 minutes.
That's
On to the
true.
next one.
You know, this movie does have a very chaotic, picaresque energy to it
For
as it
sure.
bounces about from plot to plot.
It's also
What
got a lot of exposed dick bouncing around,
The largest
hanging and
uh
dangling.
the largest member I have seen
that thing had its own heart.
in a major motion picture ever.
There's like a specific part where that character, the alpha called Samson. There's more penises than just one, but he's really the one.
It
Uh,
Yeah.
leaves an
where
impression on you.
he rips a guy's head out and the spine comes out with the head, and he like jumps down and the camera like cuts to his feet and does this like almost like it looks like Fury Road when Sixel's cutting out the frames and you like do a 360-degree rotation around his
Mhm.
feet. And I was like, this is literally the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. And I that really is the spirit of why I liked it. I mean, there's other things. I think Jodie Comer's quite good. Rafe Fiennes shows up in this in a completely off
The
the wall way that yeah, lands totally different than I thought it was gonna.
the Jodie Comer stuff and the Ray Fiennes stuff is what really took it over the top for me to
Mhm.
just completely
To such a degree that we got to that point in the movie, like an hour and 15 minutes in or something, and I was like, why wasn't this the movie?
And
yeah.
there's like a lot of buildup there where they're like, the doctor's a crazy person. It's like, no, it doesn't. He's
You know,
burning bodies during a quarantine.
it seems
That seems very normal.
Right.
behaving in an insanely calculated manner. You can see that from the
Does
perspective
seem
that the
smart.
character telling the story sees it from, and you can clearly
Hmm.
tell he's like behaving by a protocol.
But
Yeah.
I think in that you start to what you should be gleaning is that the character telling that story has poor judgment, that he was a boy when all this
Yeah,
started, that
Yeah.
all of these people's perspectives have been completely bent. They're very pointedly in their little community. You've got
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth up here. They're
Mhm.
still holding on to the past, and that's because while this is it's like a quarantine COVID movie, it's very much a Brexit movie. It's Danny Boyle's Brexit movie
Absolutely.
with zombies.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I messaged in our group chat like a month after this movie came out. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I think that was one of the first things I texted Zach after the movie. I was like, oh
yeah,
yeah, this is Brexit picture.
yeah.
It's a
yeah,
COVID movie.
Particularly when again there's that Swedish character who's like the EU and they're like we can't be friends anymore but you know whatever all
Yeah.
that stuff very Brexity. What's nice about that is that it actually can occur to you later. It is not so strikingly obvious that you
Hmm.
can only read it that way or that's the only thing that you're thinking about, which is part of
Yeah.
the benefit of having so many different like such a carousel of ideas. I'm
Hmm.
intrigued by the new one. We just rewatched The Marvels last night, directed by Nia DaCosta, also the director of Candyman, who is in Little Fishes or something. I forget what the other one's called. Um, but she's doing
Yeah.
the Bone Temple of the Dog.
I'm going hungry."
What the hell is the Temple of the Dog?
Yeah, no, I really enjoy 28 Years Later. I love the way that it tackled dealing with death and coming to terms
Hmm.
with that, especially as a child. I was deeply moved by everything with Jodie Comer's like final 10 minutes.
And then, without getting into the detail, Jack O'Connell, I don't remember.
Donald.
The latter.
Rennick shows up in a there's like a Chekhov's Power Ranger at the very beginning of this movie. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
that
whole
was
opening of
fun.
this movie is also fucked and insane, where you're with all the children and they're watching the Teletubbies as the
Yeah.
parents are turning and slaughtering each other. Hilarious. Complete and then like no context for it, and then you totally don't touch it again for the rest of the movie. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Fine.
if I had to watch Teletubbies, I would turn the same way too. So you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. It's the
I
stuff
think
Michael
that
Haneke was trying to warn us about.
I guess this is a spoiler, but
I mean, the
I
movie's
think
been for like 2.5 months.
Yeah, it's
that's
not
true.
like it's new.
That's true. Um, the kid at the beginning that escapes, I'm pretty sure is Jack
Yes.
O'Connell.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's not touched,
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
got the
but it's
same crucifix that his father
yeah.
gives him
Mhm.
at the
Which is
end.
like a oh shit detail. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see where this.
Admittedly, that thing went over my head. I imagine all of the UK people that saw it were like, "Oh shit." And I was like, "Okay, that's wild," and then had to Google it later to
Uh,
figure out like what the deal was with that. A
I
certain
get-
other Jimmy from the real world.
yeah, I've heard of Jimmy Savile before, but I didn't make the connection right away. But as soon as
No.
someone mentioned that, I was
Same.
like,
Like,
oh,
oh.
Yeah,
it's
same.
fun. That's
Exact same
great.
on my end.
I mean, like
Um,
the American version would be like if everybody was wearing a Cosby sweater, you know?
Making a distinctly English film could certainly be alienating to us Western American type audiences. But boy, I just think it's such a smart choice here. Like it just feels like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, okay, these guys are coming together to make something distinct. And I feel like I have that kind of take on a lot of things, like Martin McDonagh. Like I something about a Martin McDonagh movie that is in Ireland that's working a little bit better for me than him trying to tackle America. Let the Coen brothers
Yeah,
tackle America. Not to say that no one can do it. Wim Wenders, Paris, Texas, we get it. It can be done. It's been done and it will be done again. But there is something just kind of nice to just like, hey, I don't give a shit if American people don't get this. This one's for us. And,
yeah.
for me, it's just trusting us to figure it out and take that journey.
And largely, sort of shockingly to me, is that the American people do seem to get it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
movie did quite well.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm very excited for the Bone Temple. It's
Hmm.
been a
It had a
tough.
wonderful trailer. Like the
It really
trailer for
did.
this.
Oh, the
Oh,
trailer,
and I
awesome.
will say another thing that definitely like solidified for me early that this was going to be like a strong, enthusiastic like was the Boots, Boots, Boots Kipling poem. That
Hmm.
whole sequence was like, dude, that's one of the coolest things that I've seen in any movie this year.
Yeah,
That really left that impression on me.
especially intercut with the Laurence Olivier footage. I can't remember which play that is, but
Yeah, there's
it,
quite a lot.
it-
You get like some war footage. Yeah, it's one of the Shakespeare's. It's one of the Henrys or
yeah.
similar. There might even be more than one, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if we're
Mhm.
it's a lot of archival footage that's getting cut in, which is a cool choice because that's obviously like, Technicolor celluloid imagery in the middle of this extremely digital movie.
Yeah. I mean, everything on this movie was shot on an iPhone. Now, granted,
Yeah,
you got very expensive lenses, you got insanely complicated rigs. So it's not like he was just standing in the woods holding his phone, going like, "Okay, action,
right.
action."
It's not designed to be the Blair Witch Project, but it does give it some very unique aesthetic properties.
Yes, absolutely. But
Does.
yeah, no, great year for horror so far.
What
Yeah,
else we got?
and looking to hopefully it'll get even better.
Yeah,
Zach
Yeah.
Krager's weapons next
I'm
week.
all in. I'm all in on
Yeah.
weapons.
And of course, I'm fully expecting Sinners to be in the awards race next year, all up and down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
we
like,
got
what else
Sinners,
would it?
Bring Her Back. This one, 28 years later. What else are we talking about? What else has happened? Any
Well,
any
not
else?
Megan 2.0, Slave, Boots Work, Diva, The House Down, whatever the hell, Chase Bank, Ad, and Pride.
I didn't like the one that everybody else did like, so
I
I didn't.
like that one. This one was so forced. I mean, just call me a faggot. It's easier. It's
Right,
less
no kidding.
Yeah, it's I did not see Megan the first.
offensive.
I did see Megan 2.0 for the same reasons that
Oh,
I saw Jurassic World Rebirth. Uh,
oh.
Rebirth is worse. Um, just not by very much at all.
I just want to point out how damning it is that like the doll sings Kate Bush and no one hides
Man,
that at all.
am I out of line if I say we tainted Kate Bush a little bit? It's
No, we did.
no fault of hers. She didn't do shit.
Yeah.
But
It's just anytime I start seeing an artist from the 70s or 80s on many TikToks, I'm like, I don't know about all that.
stay in your lane. Stay in your
Yeah.
lane. That's all I'm saying. It's good to be enthusiastic. I'm glad you're expanding your horizons, but
The other big popcorn success story this summer is Superman. And I cannot believe that I am saying this, but I
yeah,
really loved a superhero movie this year. What the fuck is going on?
I have to be honest with you. It healed my heart a little bit when it happened. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
we're
We
all together.
we truly can come together on something.
Yeah. And of all
Um,
things, a James Gunn movie, Cole's skeptical about
Ah,
all three Guardians of the Galaxy movies. All three of them, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
I barely care about those. Suicide Squad of his unwatchable.
Don't care for that one myself.
it's to a specific flavor profile. I'll say that. And
I
I would not at all begrudge anyone who has the cilantro gene with that
I what I
thing.
would say about Superman is I was not hopeful, not optimistic, but just wanted it to be good. I don't care if they get the prior to seeing the movie, this is the perspective I'm referring to here, not necessarily my perspective now, which I'll explain in a second, but I don't really care about the DCU getting off the ground. I don't care about Lanterns. I don't care about Supergirl. I don't care about whether they're going to do a Justice League. none of that shit matters to me at all. The Warner Brothers bottom line does not matter to me at all. But I wanted this Superman to be a success generally in my own eyes. There's just something like
Mm.
I like James Gunn, and especially after seeing this movie, I'm sort of switching it now. He's the last fucking guy standing. Credit to Coogler for doing the things that he's done. Credit to the Spider-Verse guys and that whole situation, but that's obviously its own complicated production thing. Just obviously Fantastic Four came out, we'll talk about it. Watching Superman, it was like, damn, they got to be feeling really salty that he's not on the payroll in Burbank anymore, because this would be the perfect guy to do Fantastic Four. Like Coogler with Sinners, one of the things that I would say is really, really true of Sinners is you can actually see how working in the Marvel machine has improved his game because he is so able to balance characters and a community and build that whole thing up in Sinners, right? The whole first hour of it is just establishment, but he moves through it in such a like blockbuster-esque paced way. And James Gunn does the same thing here. This movie, right off the bat, the biggest concern is like, oh my gosh, it's got a Green Lantern, it's got a Hot Girl, it's got this, it's got that, it's got this, it's got that. Just be a superhero movie, man. I don't need you to world build for me. But he's so good at it and everything is so well tuned that it's like, oh, it rocks. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And maybe it's a little overstuffed, but I honestly did not mind
Certainly.
it because everything weaves together perfectly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
It,
like Green Lantern and Hawk Girl are in here in the way that like normal movies have side characters, not
Right,
as like
exactly.
little mini trailers for the Hawk Girl TV show now streaming on HBO Max.
Yeah, and that's the difference. I mean, although I would watch a TV show in which she just kills Benjamin Netanyahu over and over.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
but it's
Um,
it's kind of a workplace thing. He's got the Daily Planet as one workplace, and then we've got the Justice Gang as the other workplace, and there's just certain moments. I mean, absolute credit to Gunn, who has said this. Like, one of the biggest risks that I felt like I took was just having it have like a 15-minute dialogue scene between Lois and Clark where they're just talking to each other. And a lot of that stuff is some of the best thing going on. But then every once in a while you get like a serious conversation and they're like fighting an alien outside the window casually. It's just this is Metropolis on a Tuesday night.
it's an
Right.
interdimensional imp. They have it.
That is one of the smartest things that this movie does, is that it just establishes all this crazy shit is normal.
It's normal.
That's just
That's
another
awesome.
Thursday afternoon.
Superman's fighting a kaiju outside a dude's window, and he's just drinking his coffee still.
Yeah. He saved the squirrel. It's fine.
That
Yeah.
is going to go down as this film's most singularly memorable scene. Is that in the midst of all that, you get the impression that, like, Superman, as he does, is trying to save people, not just beat the monster. He's trying to beat the monster in a way that actually doesn't hurt anyone. And
Yeah.
there's a squirrel in the middle of the fracas, and he takes the time to save the squirrel. And you're
Mhm.
like, damn. It's crazy how no one that was my biggest
And
takeaway.
that's who Superman is. Like that's who I would expect him to be.
When is the last time that you watched a superhero movie and it just felt like, wow, these are just like exceptional values that make me feel uplifted and inspired as a
He,
person?
the superhero, saves people on
That's crazy.
screen. What a
Honestly,
novel concept.
watching this movie made me feel the way I was when I was watching the Raimi movies, the
Sure,
Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies as a kid.
sure.
Genuinely. And I was like, wow, I did not think I could ever have this feeling again.
Mm,
I have significant bugbears with those movies for primarily scripting and casting reasons. Uh, but obviously you can't knock the set piece work in any of
hmm
those.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of that energy here in
Yeah.
Superman. I'll just say briefly that it's been a slow year, but this is my movie of the year thus far.
mm,
Um, I've seen it twice. I would see it again happily. Uh, I was really excited for it because I thought everything in the lead up to it, casting, the trailers, what little music I heard from it in those trailers, everything was just looking like it was all going to fall into place, and it really did for me.
hmm
Um, as someone who is totally out on the superhero movie movement, but still has a huge place in his heart for many of these characters.
Right.
Um,
There's an important element of Superman to me that just is like the critical thing. One thing that happened for me in July is I saw all three. Actually, I'm sorry, I only saw two. I had tickets to three, and I ended up not going to the third one, refunding the ticket, uh, which will make sense in a second. Because I saw Batman Begins in the Dark Knight on 35 millimeter, and I was going to do the Dark Knight Rises, just didn't really work out, and I wasn't crying about it because I don't
what a
like that
shame.
movie. Yeah. Anyway, um, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is the best supervillain in a superhero movie since 2008, Heath Ledger in The
That's
Dark
right.
Knight.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, and it is unbelievable. I literally watched the two movies back to back. I saw Superman for the first time. Next night, I went to see The Dark Knight, and it was like, no, I mean, there have been superhero movies, Into the Spider-Verse, for instance, for me, 2018, that I have liked more. Logan, I liked a little more. No MCU movie from 2008 till now has been as good as The Dark Knight, and none of them have been as good as Superman. And
Nope.
it's all that. It's all that. It's literally like Thanos is kind of okay. I like Loki, but when you have a villain that is actually this good, this menacing, this hateful, and just monomaniacal. They get the characters so right, the performance so right. It's an archetype that I really love. We were just joking about it last night. It's very like Vegeta. It's very Salieri. It's like I can't stand that this
It's
guy's
just
better than me.
capital
Mhm.
H hater.
And
It is pure unfiltered envy.
it's that
It is
reflection of
it is Kendrick versus Drake, and he is Drake.
it's that reflection of looking at Superman and thinking, "Oh, he's better than me." And how are you going to react to that? One reaction is to be inspired and want to do better, and the other
Yeah.
reaction is to completely lose your shit and seethe so hard that you become the baldest man who has ever lived.
He's bald. He's bald and torturing people who have hair.
So true.
I get it. It makes sense
Uh,
to me.
this is
But it
great.
makes Superman's values resonate all the more because all Superman has to do is be normal, right? Or it's the save the squirrel stuff, but he doesn't have to be this. In Zack Snyder, I think the biggest things that go wrong, there are many things, but the biggest things that go wrong is that he's got to be this paragon of all virtue and human greatness and might and power. And that's like this Superman feels like a person from
Right.
Kansas.
One of the smartest things this movie does is that it shows you right at the very beginning, it shows you Superman losing.
Yeah.
Beat up, he's bloody, he needs help. He has to rely on the dog. I love the dog.
Such a funny
The dog
detail.
is such a great touch.
The way that
One,
they
one
kind of
of one
pull the
of
dog together at the end is like,
one of my dad one of my dad's only notes about the movie after I took him to see it was a little too much dog.
I get
And I
it.
was like, I see that,
Yeah.
When
but
they're in the
it's
little
also extremely
anti-proton river, Mr. Terrific, by the way,
yeah,
the return of
Also
one
plays by
Darwin from X-Men First Class. That dude swagged out.
yeah.
Mhm.
Or of farming, as the
Yeah,
And
children say.
the brilliance of this movie is to make Superman not a god, even though he's got godlike powers, but
right.
he's human. He's temperamental. He's romantic. He's idealistic. He gets broken down, being
None
up.
of the Justice League proto guys really look up to him or have any respect for him.
You know, they're like, who's
He's
this fucking schmuck?
yeah. You just got yourself an upgrade.
Fucking Peacemaker on the TV talking
That,
shit.
that is a good cameo. Really funny
That is a
cameo.
good way to do a cameo.
Yeah.
With
I like don't even like the movie, haven't seen the show, but like funny cameo. I was like, that's good.
yeah.
But yeah, it's surprising to me how well it works, but it really makes me think. It's made me reflect. I'm like, well, what I like when it comes to superheroes, I kind of like some of the marginal stuff. I like your Hellboys, I like your Scott Pilgrimses. That's not superhero shit, but still. And then when it comes to comic book movies, it's like if you do a Batman movie or a Superman movie or a Spider-Man movie really well, it's just better than the other girls. Sorry, just is.
Mhm. Yeah.
I all love to your Guardians or Captain Americas or Iron Mans or whoever. Those things have worked well because of the people that you've cast, but they're great characters and their nemesis, like their villains, their rogues galleries are great characters, and that's why they
Yeah, I
work.
mean, what I find interesting about this movie is that it is, you know, It's James Gunn's sixth comic book thing that he's
Hmm.
made. Yeah, counting Peacemaker sixth. But it's his first superhero movie.
Yeah.
Because, Guardians is a space
Space
opera.
opera. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, Suicide Squad is about outwardly evil people. Um, Peacemaker is about, the most damaged man to ever wield a stupid helmet. And all of a sudden, he's making this movie about,
The
uh,
superhero.
yeah, the
Yeah.
superhero. His goal throughout his entire oeuvre is to dissect extremely flawed people in extraordinary circumstances. And that's an approach to Superman that one might find a little bit of reticence with.
Yeah. I think there
Um,
are dedicated fans who probably find the characterization a little off. Like, why is he yelling?
yeah,
Why is he getting
yeah,
pissed?
and
My
that's
counterbalance to that would be one, there's nothing about being a Kryptonian that makes you good
chill.
or like chill,
Yeah,
right? There's
Yeah.
nothing about being raised by perfectly normal fucking people in Kansas that makes you, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's not an infallible person, nor should he be. That would be insane. No one is. He's not Jesus. That's not the character. Like, people want that to be the interpretation, and those interpretations are fucking boring.
Yeah.
But most of all, if we really look at where Clark is throughout most of this movie, it's because Lex Luthor is executing a seven-layer dip of a maniacal plan to ruin this guy's life.
Hmm.
And this is how much effort he has to put into like make Clark feel kind of frazzled. That's it.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's all in the villain. If you just pay attention to that, you're like, oh, okay, this is the first you said it starts off with him losing, but that's also the first time that this character has ever lost, according to the movie itself. It's like he just lost for
yeah,
the first time.
in
Yeah,
the
of
He doesn't he
crawl.
doesn't this is new
the,
for him.
the
He's
wall of
like,
text made me a little panicky at the beginning because I was like, "Oh my God, please!" But
I liked it.
it ended up
Uh,
working.
I think what this is James Gunn's best work by a good
Yes,
clip, I think.
Yeah,
correct.
easily,
Um,
easily.
as someone who is a pretty huge fan of almost everything that he's done comic book related. And I think it's because it's the first thing that's really made him step outside of himself a little
Yeah.
bit. What's great about Peacemaker, the show, and Guardians to me is that he is laying a lot of his own demons and neuroses bare onto the page. But
Mm.
that's extremely well-trodden territory for him by now.
For sure.
Uh-huh.
So this felt like something that pushed him to
Yeah.
really think outside of his own creative oeuvre in a way.
And I can
And
really feel that in the scenes between Clark and Lois. Rachel Brosnahan, perfect casting.
Yeah.
I
You can feel some of
could
him
not ask
in
for better.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's probably the character that he identifies with.
yeah. He's the
Guy
Lois.
Gardner is a very James Gunn character. I think Lex Luthor, there's a compassion for Lex Luthor in this movie, quietly in the margins of it, where you're like, oh, you're just a pitiful little dude. That
yeah,
sucks.
totally.
Yeah,
He
Um,
also shot that guy, so fuck him.
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I have not wanted to strangle somebody in a movie for such a long time.
What
What a
what
coup. I mean, what a coup that you felt that intensely.
Hmm. For a comic book movie.
That's
it's
awesome.
just yeah, it's just phenomenal. Um, what's not phenomenal,
Yeah.
if I may segue now.
Not
This is
not
where
fantastic. Are you gonna
Yeah.
say yeah?
No, I wasn't gonna say that, but here we are.
But it's been said.
I would be meeting the movie at its level to make that pun. Matt Shackman's The Fantastic Four,
Who?
colon First Steps.
the
Uh,
one division guy.
yeah, my favorite repeat director on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I was actually watching Mad Men earlier today,
God.
and directed by Matt Shackman flew across my screen at
What
the beginning
season?
of one of those episodes, five.
Oh, so it's
Uh,
probably fucking good.
no, it was, yeah. All of his Sunny episodes are great. All of his Game of Thrones episodes are like, I think he directs like I think he might have directed like it wasn't Battle of the Bastards, but it was somewhere around there in that season. Like good stuff in a kind of bad season. So I give him And WandaVision, I think for all of it that I watched and disliked, has some visual panache to it in certain areas. So I don't think he is untalented at all. Um, this is his second feature, actually. He directed something in like 2014 for A24 that nobody saw. So there's just this movie is so flat.
Yeah.
Like I didn't it did not okay, I'll lean positive for a second. I think Vanessa Kirby, I have some misgivings about how that character is written, but I think performance-wise, pretty perfect Sue Storm. I don't really have any notes
It's
performance-wise.
not a great on paper character from the comics, which I like. There have been good
Yeah.
versions of her, but she's of the four characters the one that has the least to do. It's one of the can I jump the gun a little bit? It's one of
Yeah.
the many, many, many reasons why The Incredibles is so spectacular is because they put a lot of thought into the mom. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
just throwing it out there, but it's not something that has generally been done well consistently, even back to the Stan Lee days.
For sure. Um, yeah, Vanessa Kirby, pretty great. And there's nothing in this, save for a post-credits scene, that actively irritated me. So those are the positives. The rest of the movie is just so I've seen so much positive praise for this movie
Yeah,
that's like Marvel finally learned how to do it again.
it's like
And it's like, yeah, make Ant-Man.
yeah,
They learned how to
uh-huh.
do that again.
I
I
saw a
don't,
tweet that
yeah.
said that like praising Marvel for, getting back into form is like praising a dying old dog for learning how to go down a flight of stairs.
It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, guys, we're done
There's
here.
just it's yeah, so that's one thing. This movie is 10 years late. And I
more than that.
realized yeah, I realized that's how long it's been since Fant Four Stick,
Yeah,
which is
Yeah.
just an unfortunate turn of events.
yeah,
But that doesn't change the fact that this should have happened 10 years ago
hmm
in the lead up
Mm.
to Infinity War.
correct.
And we should be on X-Men by now. It's a extraordinary derailing of progression of events that's not where we're at. Um, but okay, so yeah, this is set on like Earth 838 or something like that. It's not
Yeah.
in the MCU planet, which I think is
It's like
616.
a it's kind of a cool thing that they're doing where it's like a retro future. Like it's the
Yeah,
60s, but it's clearly not the 60s. It's like the 60s as it's Watchmen-esque in that way. Like it's a
it
Mm.
period
is.
piece, but it's like an alternate past.
Well, I mean, what it is it's The Incredibles. Um,
Fair.
I think the Reed Richards character is sort of limp and
Yeah.
sanded down, but
Just
I did not have any hopes for
part
a
of
super dynamic Reed Richards in the MCU.
part of the
Uh,
problem is that Reed, as you would want to make him in the MCU, already has a lot of overlap with how they characterized both Pony and Doctor Strange,
yeah,
where
Mm.
he's like kind of a conceited asshole. And that's the guy, like you need to do that,
yeah,
but I think they were probably feeling like, I
and I
mean,
think
is that
there's
just going to be
room.
more of the same?
Yeah, there's room to operate there because despite all that, Reed Richards is like the most fucking stick up his ass do-gooder of those three guys.
For sure. Totally.
So there's room to operate there. They did not take that room. Uh, uh, he's okay. I think the character is written fine. Pascal is wildly miscast.
Definitely.
Um,
I get it.
just
There's a look to it that I think works with the mustache and the kind of like
yeah,
silver temples and everything, but it's not there.
he's just
He's too nice. He's too
he's
likable.
yeah, and Reed, even though he is like the mouthpiece of the Fantastic Four, like the one who's most outwardly presenting besides he's less flamboyant than Johnny, but he is the one who speaks the most for them,
Right.
Mm.
typically. He's always been quite rigid and not sort of charismatic in the way that like Steve Jobs was sort of charismatic,
Sure.
and not charismatic in the way that like, you know, whoever is charismatic. The point is that it's just, like they've sanded down both Pascal's charm and Reed Richards's edge at the same time and trying to meet in between in some way. So that's sort of a whiff there. Uh, Eben Moss Backrack is about as good a Ben Grimm casting as you could ever ask for. Um, Completely and utterly wasted,
Yeah.
like to
Hmm.
a degree that I really and truly do not understand.
It's the biggest way you can fail a direct Fantastic Four adaptation. It is the edge that you would actually have over the Incredibles because they don't have this guy. They don't
Yep.
like it's there are three types of superheroes. One of them, which has been done and done and done and done, is like the hero that has to like have some emotional burden, doesn't really want it's the Batman thing. It's like the tortured, tormented soul, right? And then the other type that you would really see is rare because it's more like Superman. It's like super aspirational. It's like very upbeat and positive. And then there's this third category of guy, which I would put Daredevil into. You could say that Daredevil has the tormented Batman thing, but he and Ben Grimm have this becoming a superhero made their lives worse. The guy is a rock monster. This other dude is blind. Like it came at a cost. It's not just like the Spider-Man, you got to balance the human life and the superhero life. It's like this shit sucks. And yet, he's like the heart and soul of the entire endeavor. It's such a rich, immediately rewarding character and they were like, "Nah.
Nah, not
Nah."
gonna fool with it.
What do you mean?
We're gonna get one of the best actors working right now. Just have him say it's clobbering time. And
And then
Joseph
See,
Quinn is really bad. Just multiple reads here where I'm like,
he
oh
seems old.
no.
Not
He
like
does.
he's not like way off of age from Vanessa Kirby, but like the way that you want to characterize Johnny as like the rock star one is like, yeah, you feel 10 years too old for
well, they
this,
gave him
man.
an Ellen DeGeneres haircut, and I'm just
Which
like,
makes him look older, yeah.
It does. He's like 30 or something like that.
Yeah, he's not old per
Yeah.
se.
It could have worked. It certainly could have worked with someone in that age range.
Yeah.
But first of all, accent. Uh, Notably, especially when he has to really emote in scenes with like the Silver Surfer later on. He's there's some accent issues. And Kirby is not exactly innocent of that either a couple times.
Garner and Innocent are like fine.
I
Uh,
was gonna ask, how is the winner of the Madonna boot camp?
Um,
she,
she's all
Present.
right. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Kinda. She sort of disappears for a while and then shows back up at the end and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay."
it's a thing where they were like, we're gonna do Galactus, and you can't really do Galactus without Silver Surfer, but we don't have an
Correct.
angle on
Which
that.
is horrific. It
Oh,
doesn't make any sense.
Crash and Burn, because
Sir, that's the
Silver
character.
Surfer, Silver Surfer is the mouth of Sauron for Galactus. It
Uh-huh.
is the personification of a giant unknowable evil.
Right.
So you
And
have to
sort of
have,
functions as like a tragic Sauron type of figure, if
yeah,
you like. Like simultaneously extremely intimidating,
Uh-huh.
tragic, obviously gonna be an Avenger in some capacity, assuming she comes back. But like, yeah, I don't know. There's potential there. Part of it is that they French her an awful looking VFX. I mean,
really
no
bad.
improvement from Rise of the Silver Surfer. In fact, it's probably looking worse, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
crazy town.
Ooh.
They
Um,
don't do anything as imaginative as like the bit where the Lawrence Fishburne version goes through the building, sort of like warps in, warps out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Nothing as interesting as that
they
ever.
like they like give her human eyes, which doesn't that is not what the
That did
Silver
look
Surfer
weird
looks like.
in the trailer. I haven't seen this movie, and I will not for several months until I can fold laundry while watching it, but the eyes did look very off.
And then
Yeah.
Innocent, it's like they built him this whole suit, super intricate. You can see pictures of him in it. And he was talking about how like it had like these pieces. You can take them on, you take them off, and they would cool him down, and he does the whole thing. Obviously, he's got that great voice. So they did all this practically, and it none of it looks practical. Admittedly,
No.
production design, I think it's one of the most cohesive, coherent worlds ever established in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I mean
When
that
you
as a
can see
compliment.
it.
Yeah, I mean that as a compliment, but at the same time, there's a twofold problem of just the director not having a lot of vision as a filmmaker, and in general, no one having one iota of the imagination of Jack Kirby, who they're aiming for and aping. Like they're not inspired by Jack Kirby. They're just copying, which, maybe there's a place for that. But I think of Spider-Verse and how those movies visualize Spider-Man. It's not as if they're just copying Ditko. They're taking it and running all over the map with it, doing so much crazy visual shit and throwing it at you a million miles per hour. And this has none of that. None of it. It's super boring.
No.
Super boring.
The coolest thing that happens in this movie is that Reed and Sue Storm's child is born as they are going around the slingshot of a
We talking
black
about
hole.
we talking about Jack Jack.
Yeah. And that's pretty neat. That whole sequence, like I just like love the idea of Franklin Richards being born as they are escaping Galactus and through the mechanism of being slingshot around a black hole. That just feels kind of perfect to me. That idea is delivered with no visual panache.
Like, yeah. My biggest read on this is that if it had come out as a Marvel Phase 1 movie in 2011, let's say, in the build up to Avengers, like maybe they're not in Avengers because they're on this alternate world or whatever, right? It's this other era and they're not part of the main story, but they're obviously building to where they would be. I think we're looking at like a 3-star movie. I rated this 2 stars, but if it was, this sounds weird, right? But if it came out in 2011, we'd be like, wow, what an interesting establishing piece. They did a great job of building this world. The problems are still the problems, but cool. If you
Yeah,
make it in like 2015 as a Phase 2 movie, it's probably feeling a little bit more Ant-Man-ish, like 2.5, like, yeah, all right, been there, done that, but we got to establish some new characters so that we can keep the ball rolling as we move towards Avengers 3, 4, 5, whatever the hell. In 2025, it's like, bro, it's dead. Let it go. It's
it
over.
the big one of the big selling points of this movie is that you don't need to do any homework to have
Sure,
seen it.
right.
Uh,
It's a new
which
origin.
in and of itself is such a damning indictment of where
Yeah,
we're at.
totally. Totally.
Uh,
That's
but
And it has that
if
stink of Iron Man 2 of like, and because it
oh
is like that, the goal
God.
is to like, they're already telling you like he's going to be the leader of the Avengers in Avengers Doomsday. And it's like, can we maybe take the time to
I
figure out if
don't
that's true?
I don't know that motherfucker.
I
Like
am so ready for Doomsday to be the Hello Dolly of superhero movies.
yeah, it'll
We'll
make like
see.
eight it'll like make 800 million and that will be a
E-
disappointment because they
e-
spent like 500 million each on them.
even beyond the Tony Stark of it all, I just genuinely think Robert Downey Jr. is an awful casting for Victor Von Doom. Like a
Yeah,
horrific, like regardless of the Iron Man history that makes it really pathetically stupid, it's actually just not a good casting on paper in any version of Fantastic Four to
Yeah,
have him as
I
Doctor Doom. Like, what are you talking
should
about?
should not at all be an American guy, number one.
No.
Number two, he's gonna because he plays such a compelling, intelligent person. I think watching him do his thing will be sort of compelling.
Yeah,
But I,
maybe.
I doubt if it will be have any connective tissue to Victor Von Doom in any way.
The right energy is Daniel Bruhl,
Yeah.
who is Zemo in these movies.
My
But
my
like,
dream pick was always Mads Mikkelsen.
sure, yeah, totally,
Yeah, it's just a big fat who cares.
totally, just nothing there.
I'm glad y'all have enjoyed it. You will not remember it by this
I
time next month.
I've mentioned a few times we were watching Marvel stuff, and I watched the Marvels, and it's like, yeah, I have those like right back to back. They're like about as good as each other,
Hmm.
which is to
Hmm.
say, not particularly.
Yeah. Better
But
than they could be,
every time, I mean,
but bad.
obviously, I get it. I'm not new to the game. I understand sometimes you gotta mix and match a continuity to like get characters where you want them to be. But boy, since 2008, the Spider-Verse people got to be feeling like fucking Oppenheimer. They're like, we opened the multiverse door and no one can close it now. Until the superhero enterprise as we know it dies, even Superman has that fucking pocket dimension shit. They can't help it anymore. They have to have a multiverse. It's exhausting. Even in Captain America shit, they're like, "Ah, the multiverse." Oh man, here comes Beast. Thank God, it's Kelsey
We,
Grammer.
we continue to pay for the sins of everything everywhere all at once being so successful.
I think Spider-Verse was the launch pad.
Yeah, it's we don't get to that without
Yep.
Into the Spider-Verse, I don't think.
Yeah.
No Way Home
So
and Deadpool and all that shit.
Mhm.
yeah,
Ant-Man, Quantumania, rough,
we
rough
did.
stuff.
I guess Thunderbolts was technically a summer release. Was that spring?
It,
Snooze,
it is
snooze,
May,
snooze,
Yeah, it was
it cost,
snooze.
and it
Fantastic.
also lost money. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I will say that I enjoyed Fantastic Four more than I enjoyed that, which
Marginal.
I think I gave them the same rating. Uh, both have had a bafflingly positive reception to me. Um,
Even the
that
positive reception feels like it's all being done at
It's
gunpoint.
kind of like, yeah, kind of bargaining
It
almost.
is
Yeah,
forced.
it's
It
it's
is
like
not authentic.
I understand and believe truly that these people do enjoy this. I just think
It's just like
we are in a space where we can demand better.
They
a
are
guy who's
brainwashed on this
yearning,
false.
yearning for the Kenneth Branagh Thor.
It's
That's where
not
we're
a
at.
it's not a great space.
You're in hell.
That's not good.
Thankfully, it is easier than ever to completely ignore these movies.
Yeah,
It's just no cultural weight whatsoever.
Yeah. Thank you, Endgame, for like closing the door on that permanently.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the last one was No Way Home, and that's because it connected to every zillennial deep
I
in
would
their
say
heart.
it's No Way Home and it's Deadpool, and both of them have the same trick up their sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Deadpool, I will say, is like,
I'm just going off the money.
yeah, for sure the money. Deadpool was like, No Way Home was like we trotted out versions of these characters that people really got attached to, and Deadpool was like,
Totally.
we got one of those, and here is also Pyro
Right.
from X-Men 2. Nobody cares.
Hey, Electra, how you doing?
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, even for all the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, it did feel smaller than No Way Home for sure. And the
It's
fact
just
that,
like it had none of the like water cooler
and
discussion
yeah,
holding
like
power that
that
No Way Home
summer,
had.
yeah, that summer it got its ass kicked by Inside Out 2 and at the
Right.
end of the thing. So
hmm
the decline continues.
It its success as the superhero parody movie might speak to the fact that we're running on fumes and that it's better to laugh at these things than it is to try to take them seriously.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're explicitly like, we got Wolverine. He's not joining at the best of times. That is a line in that movie. And like saying it doesn't make it better, guys.
Right.
Knowing that without making any effort
It's
to
exactly
improve.
it's exactly
Uh,
how I felt rewatching Captain America 4 Brave New World.
Oh my God,
Why did
yeah.
we rewatch that? Why are Cole and I the only two human beings on Earth who have seen that movie twice? That makes no sense. But
I
there's
demand a refund.
there's a whole thing about how Steve Wilson won't take the serum, and it's like just because you had a conversation about it does not make that less stupid. That's really fucking stupid, man.
Again, how much did Liv Tyler get paid for appearing for literally 15 seconds?
I don't know.
not
It,
enough.
it made me remember that Tim Blake Nelson gave one of the greater superhero like not movie, it's a TV show performances of the previous decade. Just watch that again. That shit rocks. Yeah, by the way, Morgan, if you didn't know, Tim Blake Nelson is in Captain America Brave New World.
Oh yeah, that's the Incredible Hulk sequel where
Yeah.
they got that in.
It's also an Eternal sequel.
Yeah, there's some adamantium in that big old hand.
Mhm. Yeah,
I know these things.
Chloe Zhao's Hamnet coming to a theater near you this December.
That looks
looks
like a
good.
real movie, so
Looks good.
I'm in support.
Let's
I
get back to talking about real movies,
Yeah.
as divisive as they may be.
Yeah.
let me
Yeah,
grab a water. I'm gonna take a quick. If you
I
want
need
to
to do the
intro it, I'll
same.
be.
No, I need to get one as well. So,
I will spin. The main reason that we've gathered here today is to talk about Eddington, the newest release from who seemed to be, one of the new masters of horror and has instead revealed himself to be more of a divisive little stinker of a guy. And I mean that as a compliment. Ari Aster, following his 2023 film Beau is Afraid, uh, Midsummer, and of course, his big splash Hereditary. But this time, Ari is pulling away from the horrors of fantasy and demons and cults uh, with
not
deep.
quite cult. He's not quite getting away from those.
Well, true. He's getting away from ones that have supernatural powers. But this time, Ari Aster is inviting us all to remember a very, very dark time in all of our lives that no one wants to really remember, truthfully. Uh, but it did lead to a great tagline for this movie. Hindsight is 2020.
That's a funny tagline.
I
Exhausting.
like I like that
Exhausting.
post. I like that poster where it's
The
The
Buffalo.
Buffalo,
the
but
buffaloes going
yeah,
off the edge. I like that. That was a
great.
I
good.
mean, can I just
That's a
ask you,
be- that that's a better joke.
is that a
Yes,
Powerade Zero? Are we
it is.
Powerade Zeroing right now? Hell yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Uh,
That joke of the poster of the buffaloes going over the edge of the cliff is a better joke than anything in the actual film. We'll start there.
So this one's rooted in Ari Aster's home state, not his birth state, but his home state of New Mexico. I believe he was born or not born, but primarily raised and went to school in Santa Fe. So sort of an interesting thing there. Like he's not one of the real dangers of a movie like this is that you have some Hollywood guy trying to do a movie about rural towns and rural town folk, and it's gonna come across like fucking big city shithead talking shit about whatever. Now, admittedly, in 2020 and just everything that happened from like 2016 to 2020 and really all the way up till now, there's a lot of opportunity to poke fun there. What's interesting about it is that the first targets that he really starts taking a stab at in this movie are performative liberals more than anybody else, I think. Which is an
Yeah.
interesting tack when your overall subject matter is like dinky desert town in 2020 suffering from economic collapse, essentially, or imminent
Yeah,
economic
I mean,
collapse.
I, I, I I'll say in fairness, the very first target of the movie is the main character of the movie.
Is
yeah.
it?
You know, well, I mean, the first scene is some dudes rolling up on him and being like, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" And he's like,
Yeah, but
"Some
okay, let me ask you guys this.
okay."
Do you feel like the movie is criticizing him for that? I kind of felt like it was on his side. Not that it has to be one or the other.
I don't think
Ultimately,
it's on his side.
I wouldn't say that
It's
either.
yeah. I think especially by the time we get to the scene in the grocery store where he's like being belligerent with people about wearing masks, it's definitely
Yeah,
not
it
on
felt
his
like they
side.
were being belligerent with him to me when I was watching it. I felt
Oh, yeah,
like
yes.
he's Randy Marsh. This is an episode of South Park, and
Yeah.
he's Randy Marsh. So he's a ridiculous person who we're
I
supposed to laugh at, but he's also like the center, and everybody around him is actually, it's like Hank Hill, kind of like everybody else around him is more ridiculous. He's almost the least ridiculous person here for much of the movie, I felt like. Which I think tilts by the end. It's not like that the whole time because this fucker's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, and I will say this is the closest I've come to actually liking an Ari Aster film since Hereditary.
Mm.
There's so much of this that almost works for me, and it doesn't quite get there.
Are you two
I
and a half or three?
I'm two and a half,
Yeah.
leaning towards free.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I remember when, like, there's always that feeling like I've seen the movie, Cole's seeing the movie, he's on the West Coast, and we're like, how's California going to come in this election? Like, we're waiting on the results to come in. How's it going to go? And I had a feeling as I saw it, I was like, Cole might sort of like this because of the way that it puts its thumb in the eye of rural America, and not just in the obvious ways, but just in an
Mhm.
overall way. I know
Yeah,
that's something that's kind of, that'll tickle you from time to time at
yeah.
least.
Like one of my favorite jokes in this movie is the one about the mayor's son's best friend and just the supernatural ability that white people have to turn any movement into a personal grift.
Right. Yeah. But in that way, I mean, I really felt like, when you look at the Pedro Pascal character, when you look at
Mhm.
like the girl who's doing all the like movement, it's
Yeah.
like everybody's
Where
gullible,
Giovanni's room.
everybody wants to follow something, everybody wants to like cling on to an ideal and have a place to belong. And so in that way, it's human, but it's like it's really an indictment. I feel like it's Ari Aster's indictment of how people behave.
Yeah.
And it comes across very South Park to me. It's like, look at all these dumbasses. Look at all these fucking idiots, these fucking rubes. And that's like, okay, yeah, sure. I just, I might be the odd man out. I'm not going to say that 2020 was not a huge schism in all of our lives. We can point to so many different things. We were just talking earlier about how nobody dines inside fast food restaurants anymore. Not that they were doing a ton of it before either, but like movie
Mhm.
theaters are taking a hit. Every church in America is taking a hit because anywhere that people congregate and gather, like it's not the same as it was before. It was a big impact. It had a big impact on me no matter what I say. Like last year, I had like a sort of emotional like a moment in my life. And all of that shit kind of stems to 2020. So like I won't pretend it wasn't a big deal. But God, we're such fucking babies about it. We are such nothing fucking happened to you. Nothing
Yeah.
happened to you. Like you're fine. What are
No,
we fucking whining about?
the American talent to self-victimize is unparalleled.
Which I guess that is probably the smartest angle that this movie would be said to have.
Right.
Is that none of these people are suffering and yet they're all losing their fucking minds about it.
Right. That's the thing. They're at home all day long, scrolling on their phones, listening to whatever fucking nonsense about the
Yeah,
Titanic sinking being planned or the, the oh, what the mom had like so much nonsense. She was
yeah,
rambling every
right.
single day.
I think that's my second favorite performance in this movie is that mom.
She's really
The
The
mother.
good.
the
She's
first
really good.
being Butler.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Not in nearly
Dude,
enough of this movie
That
was it.
Butler
I
steals the
had a
fucking
similar
show.
moment in this movie that I did with 28 Years Later, where a turn happens and a character is introduced, or at least sort of takes center stage. That being Butler and that and Comer in 28 Years Later, where I'm like, why isn't the movie that?
I think it's almost an indictment of a director when you don't realize as you're filming, I've got my script, I've got my shot list, I've got my cast. You don't realize that guy's burning up the camera. Like you don't realize like maybe
Yeah.
we want to give him a little bit more run, like just maybe write a few more scenes for him. Like I don't know. There's an opportunity to make a smarter decision. It's one of the reasons why Fury Road's one of the defining movies of the 2010s is whatever they were planning at first, by the end of the day it was Charlize Theron's movie because they were like she's cooking.
Hmm.
And that's not to say that they didn't have any plan from the start, but obviously it's called Mad Max and you got Tom Hardy. It's got this intention. Anyway,
I do think if this movie was more about Emma Stone's character, he would definitely feature more
what
prominently.
a fucking nothing of a character, dude.
Yeah. There's
Nothing.
nothing going
It
on there.
reminded me
To
like
such a degree that like she's coming off of two Oscar win, her second Oscar win. It's
Yeah.
it's
ridiculous.
such a
Kinds of
it's
kindness as well.
yeah, it's such a nothing. She has such a great working relationship with Lanthimos.
Right.
It's so surprising to me that she said yes to this movie when the character has so little screen time in a 2.5 hour movie,
Mhm.
and B is such a nothing burger of a character like on screen. The ideas there are interesting because I mean, are we gonna make this a spoiler discussion?
Oh
Because
yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
yeah,
so.
Oh yeah.
um,
We spoil everything on here all the
yeah.
time.
We
So
do.
So it like so her character is essentially like her trauma of being molested by her father has been co-opted by her mother, first and foremost, who has become a conspiracy nut, and then co-opted again by this cult leader-esque figure in Austin Butler's character. And these are all things that are told to us.
Right.
We do not experience them from Stone's character from in pretty much any way except for one emotional outburst she has that lasts maybe 15 seconds.
But we will do a number of repeated scenes about will a person or will a person not wear a mask? Something that no one in the entire fucking state of Texas was doing by January of 2021, if not much earlier than that in many cases.
Well, yeah, probably like August.
I'm not saying
That
that's
kind of went
right.
away.
I'm not saying that we
No,
shouldn't have a conversation. It's not right. We should have a conversation, but like,
this movie does not
fuck,
have a
man.
conversation about
Yeah,
anything.
I do think the difference for me is that I lived in Mass during the time and at California at the very start of all this. So we were all super, super strict.
Yeah. This I mean, this is set during 2020. It has
Mhm.
no compunction about like, hey, I'm about the past. It reminded me, well, it didn't, it's not that it reminded me. I'm just using this as an example to kind of springboard and sort of talk about this. When Knives Out, not Knives Out, but Glass Onion came out, and they're doing
Mhm.
the mask jokes in that movie, it was like I was
Yeah,
sitting in a theater on Thanksgiving Day in a room full of people not wearing masks, and they're like, "Look at these rich assholes not wearing their masks properly." It's like, yeah, no one does this
yeah. And for me, like the pandemic-y stuff is the least interesting part of this movie.
for
Like
sure.
I
It's the part that
it's like
is specifically around the coronavirus, the
mhm.
novel coronavirus. It is clearly the thing in that time period that Aster is the least interested in.
Yeah, which I do think shows.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would have minimized the jokes about COVID just a little bit more because it's not what he's interested in ultimately. It's more about the fact that everyone was so isolated for so long that everyone lost their minds.
But they're okay. I'll go with you on that, except that in this motion picture, that
Mhm.
is not true. We
Yeah,
are in the grocery store. We are
yeah.
in the bar. We are
And
in the
that
city streets. We
that
are
is
at the school.
and that is speaking to something about the utterly hypocritical nature of people.
I
Like
guess
the fact
that's
that
true,
they
but
stayed
like,
home for like a long weekend and they all went bug shit insane.
so, right. They're just going insane of their own volition because they have social media. So it's kind of
Yeah.
just a social media movie, which means that
Hmm.
you could have said it in 2023 and kind of like gotten a little weirder with it. It's a little bit in that like post doomer stage of like people have really given up on all this shit, but at the same time like they're still dying from it. I don't just nothing,
Yeah,
man. It's a
yeah,
bunch of fucking hashtags.
yeah. It's set because it's set like very specifically in the weeks after.
It's like May 2020, I
Yeah,
think.
it's George Floyd's murder that like triggers everything in this town.
Not something Ari Aster has the tools to talk about respectfully.
No,
I don't
he tried, but
there's a very, very, very small list of directors that would have the tool set to talk about that.
yeah,
And I'm not feeling bold enough to even guess at who those directors are.
It's like Ryan Coogler.
Yeah. And he
because
already made Fruitvale Station.
Right, that's exactly right.
yeah, because ultimately that aspect really boils down to the Michael Ward character, the one black off person in this town who's also happens to be a deputy.
Right.
Finds himself caught in between, serving the badge and, his own emotions about what was going on.
But also like we're not even really getting into the idea of this is like the whole problem of everything being shut down is that no one's working, but this guy has a job, right? Because he's an
Yeah.
essential worker or whatever. Like this is
Mhm.
money.
Right.
This is a source of income for him at a time
Mhm.
that's very delicate and sensitive.
Right.
I think we I'm sure somebody said his name, maybe Cole, while you were introducing it, but like can we rewind the clock to 2021, come on, where Joaquin Phoenix shares the screen with Woody Norman, Gabby Hoffman, etc. And it's not like an ensemble, but it is a drama with numerous
Mhm.
parts. And then we get out of that and we get into the run of, and forgive me if I get the order of any of these wrong, I think I'm going to get it right. Ridley Scott's Napoleon,
Hmm.
Ari Aster's Beau is Afraid,
Uh-huh.
Joker Folie à Deux by Todd Phillips, and then this. It's four fucking ego trips in a row for this guy, Joaquin Phoenix, of The entire movie is him. The entire movie is him mugging. And in this movie, I think you could argue for any of those four is the worst of these four because they're all fucking annoying. But this is
Both.
the movie where I'll come back to that. I get it. I think you and I are sort of reversed. I'm more like 2.5 on Bo because there's like bits and bobs of that movie
Uh,
that I think are kind of funny, especially in the first 30 minutes to an hour ish of it, where it's like after hours light is kind of funny to me. But this is the one where that's the most frustrating because in theory, the movie is called Eddington. It is about a community. We could be doing this sort of Altman-esque ensemble piece. We've
I
got
did
Emma
think about
Stone,
Nashville with the truck
the
driving
truck,
around.
and he's doing the speaker, and then obviously
Yeah.
where everything leads with one character, very Nashville-esque. But we've got all these stars. We've got Joaquin Phoenix, we've got Emma Stone, we've got Pedro Pascal, we've got Austin Butler, right? There are these pillars that you could build the movie around. There are side characters you can build the movie around, and it is the motherfucking Joaquin Phoenix show for 2.5 hours. He is 95% of this movie, and I don't
It's
understand that choice
It's a
at
lot of
all.
yeah. So
walking.
so it's 95% Joaquin Phoenix, and the other 5% is composed of a plot line involving these well-intentioned, well, some well-intentioned liberal kids who are setting up sort of protest movements, but like one of them is two best friends and they're like competing with each other to get this one girl who's like in it for real, while the
Hmm.
other two are like not like just after some ass.
Yeah, and
And
that's a
like
tale of time.
you know, I see what he's saying there is that, you know, movements are co-opted by many things,
For sure.
uh, least of which is just dumb dudes looking for
Hmm.
on the hunt, so
Yeah.
to speak. Uh,
Hmm.
but the movie spends an inordinate amount of time on that, and it's really annoying. With the exception of the one time that I laughed during this movie, which is when one of these kids who is like thrust into this movement by George Floyd's murder, learning
Hmm.
about all this stuff, rattles off a bunch of you know, hashtags essentially to his parents, and his dad looks at him in a room full of like guns and Second
I, I,
Amendment,
I,
don't tread on me stuff.
yeah,
He
I
looks at his
laughed at
son
that.
after he rattles off all this stuff and goes, "Are you fucking? You're white." And that's the one thing in the movie that I was like, okay, I see what you're saying,
Yeah, and
but you don't
I did laugh at that.
yeah, you lack the focus to really hone in on what's interesting about your own work here. Because
Yeah.
there are so many perspectives in this movie that are possible. There's Emma Stone that we've already mentioned. There's Pedro Pascal's character, the mayor of the town. There's plenty of
He-
story to
He's
than there.
he's pretty damn good in this.
He
Yeah,
is.
he is.
Um,
He also gets the biggest laugh out of the entire movie for me when it shows his political campaign ad.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I thought that was good.
Just like begging because my wife left me.
Yeah.
Just playing on the fucking piano. Like,
That wasn't like ha ha funny to me, but it was like I
Yeah.
smiled.
Hmm.
Um, but there's Ted Garcia, the mayor.
mhm.
There's the butler character. There's these kids, and we spend 95% of the movie with maybe the least interesting perspective of all of them,
Which
which
is
is
kind of a
the
non-perspective.
yeah, it's the town sheriff who like has these weird backwards views, but is so repressed that he doesn't really know how to communicate that and sort of communicates it awkwardly and bluntly in a way that even most of the people in the town are like eh to him, and like he goes on this misguided campaign to run for mayor, which is a plot line that goes nowhere.
Well,
um
it culminates with Emma Stone leaving him and like
which could have
being
happened
like,
for any reason.
yeah. Emma Stone's storyline in this movie feels like a massively condensed version of Florence Pugh in Midsummer, where
Hmm.
she's just so completely bought into the bullshit by the end.
Yeah, but my point is that we spend all this time
Yeah.
with sort of really uncompelling character.
Mhm.
And
There's
Joaquin is certainly not at his worst here,
Agreed.
no,
but
it's one of his better turns in recent memory.
yeah, oh my God, that's grim.
But
Um,
I to stick with the comparison, to me the character comes off as Randy Marsh, South Park,
Uh,
and it's never as funny as that. That character is
no.
just like innately like gets a laugh out of me every time he's on screen because there's
mhm.
just something kind of like the mustache, the way that he looks. He's like this very traditional like 80s dad that's just like whatever ridiculous thing he's getting himself into. Funny character, it just works.
There's
That's
this.
missing here.
This might sound completely insane, but I
Go ahead.
got the feeling that with Joe Cross, with Joaquin's character, it's almost a Barry Lyndon-esque sort of situation
Okay.
where you're laughing at this idiot and then the turn happens. Uh, it's very specifically, well, we said we were going to spoil anyways.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
good.
Kills when he kills both the mayor and the son, and you're like, oh, this guy is not just an idiot; he's a dangerous fucking shitheel.
Right.
And then it builds up to the end where he basically has the same fate as Barry Lyndon.
Yeah. It's Joker. He's just the fucking Joker again. And it's a better performance, and the character is more. There are more shades
Mhm.
rendered by Aster to
Yeah,
that ever so slightly.
yeah.
But it's a guy who is damaged to begin with,
Mhm.
through a series of unfortunate events, goes off the deep end and starts killing people, and is thus rewarded by the backwards ass society that he lives in. It's the same thing. It's Taxi Driver, it's the King of Comedy, it's Joker, we have done this. We have done this with this actor
Yeah.
twice in the past 5 or 6 years. And
Mhm.
I am so
Yeah.
tired.
Rewarded until it turns on him. And I realize I'm saying all these complimentary things. I still didn't really like the movie all that much, but I can
Well,
see,
yeah, you're bouncing off two people who are very negative. So,
but I can
I
see,
don't even know that I've given an impression of just how much I did not give a fuck about this.
but
Like
I can,
yeah.
just
yeah,
completely checked the fuck out 20 minutes into it. And then there were 2 hours and 10 minutes left, and it just was just a slog.
yeah.
Just a slog of a
My
movie.
ultimate complaint is that if he had just honed in on like two to three specific elements instead of trying to juggle every single hot topic in 2020, it would
Totally.
come across better. Because for me, the best part of this movie was when it honed in on all of your right wing paranoia bullshit about Q and the children in Wayfair and whatever the fuck is distracting you from the very real problem that private equity is coming to destroy everything we have and will
Golden Magikarp.
nothing. Solid gold Magikarp, which is apparently a real thing.
It's a Pokemon.
I learned that
Oh, I know that's a
they're on the phone with my grandmother a couple days ago, and she was like, they're
Mhm.
putting one of those data centers on this land here. They live in
Mhm.
northern Kentucky and
Uh-oh.
that area, so it's a lot of farmland. It looks a decent bit like Eddington. It's just greener.
Uh,
Um,
We
so
should
I
do
was just
some
like,
Andor shit over there.
yeah.
I gotta learn how to
And
fly an
but then I was
aircraft.
like, I was like scrolling through the news today and I was reading, like AI data center in northern Texas uses 436 million gallons of water each year. Residents advised to take shorter showers. And I'm like,
Or used for nothing.
used for what? Rock?
Like Googling,
Glorified Google search.
yeah, Google searching, making pictures of women with three boobs,
Paul
right?
Verhoeven beat you to this 30 years ago, my guy.
Probably plagiarizing essays in college classes, writing emails in corporate scenarios by people who can't be bothered to learn how to spell.
Pictures of Kamala Harris in jail.
Right. Yeah. Sounds right. Facebook memes.
Yeah. But I was like, because I do think that's the ultimate final point that Aster is trying to make. All your paranoia is distracting you from the real issues.
Hmm.
Because like that's the final shot of the movie. It's this giant fucking building in the middle of nowhere with the town in the background, and it's just like this glowing monstrosity in the darkness, just sucking up everything it can around it.
It's the note that he leaves on, but it
Yeah,
is so secondary to everything that is going on in the movie up until that point. It's
Right.
yeah.
secondary. Like he makes it,
This is the problem.
Joaquin Phoenix's character makes it a talking point in his campaign for mayor.
Hmm.
Barely. It's something that he gloms onto because there are some people who are dissatisfied with that, and he lists it in his campaign slogans. And that's the only reason it's brought up after the opening act.
Yeah, I see I can envision the argument that you're making that it's a distraction. We're focused on these other things, so this is happening in the background. But there would need to be some degree of development. I mean, I know, I guess I understand that it is literally being developed as like a site that's being used there, right? So it's happening in the background. But you need if we're using like the Nashville example of the guy that's carrying around the little guitar case and everything, right? You need like a
Hmm.
thread, even if it's not the focus, because we're distracted from it as the focus. Like it's still present,
You
it's
need,
lurking.
you
I
need,
need to be able to recognize it,
yeah,
even if the characters can't.
I like
you need a
maybe
shark fin in
like
the water.
Yes,
I, I
right,
hate I hate being prescriptive about like criticism, but like an idea that I had is like turn the homeless character into somebody who's maybe still unhoused, but like going around with town all the time with a sign that's like they're taking all our water with this data
right.
center or
Huh.
something, or just a guy who like shows up repeatedly to be like, and remember that this is what's going on in the background.
Yeah, and that would have been a little more potent to the story than versus, oh, look, the liberals and the conservatives both hate homeless people.
Right.
Yeah, it's another thing that I felt really had like another commonality it had with Joker to me is where it's just repeatedly making these points about society that like any
Yeah,
asshole you meet on the sidewalk can be like, "Oh yeah, that's wrong with society."
yeah. Like that's my
I
biggest problem with this movie is that it has all these ideas, but it doesn't really tie itself together.
Well, I using like AI generated is like such a lazy piece of criticism, but it does feel we've referenced this runtime a lot. At 2.5 hours, you should be able to develop, as you're saying, Cole, 2 to 3 of your ideas really deeply, right?
Mhm.
At that runtime. But we are hitting everything in such a shotgun spread that it's a
Yeah.
bulleted list. It's like going down the Wikipedia summary. It's like reading the spark notes of an idea.
Hmm.
And that could work if the movie was really quick and sharp and funny. And it felt like we were just getting this, like, less of a shotgun, more of a machine gun. Just like, bop, 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 crazy ideas, throwing shit at you a million miles an hour.
What
And
this movie needs is a Radu Jude,
correct. That's it. It's
not need
somebody
a
who's
actor.
deeply irreverent. I'm gonna fucking really stick my fingers in your eyes. We're gonna talk about real fucking issues. The Radu Jude comparison is specifically do not expect too much from the end of the world. That is
Mhm.
the movie of his that this is the most similar to.
Yeah.
It's very fucking scattershot, but
It's longer than Eddington.
it's
It
so
doesn't feel
intelligent.
that
It's
way.
just like completely a because we can point to the black deputy character in this movie and talk about like, well, in theory, it sort of shows like a dependency on a professional system that's detrimental to you in a social way, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But we don't spend the time on it that you do in that movie where you were with that girl who works this job and it's fucking killing her. Like it's
Mhm.
absolutely just sucking the soul out of her body.
Right. Hmm.
And that is like not it's the same thing that I'm trying to describe about the data center where it's like there are all these other things that are happening in the movie that are funny that you're laughing at and consistently there's this mounting dread awfulness about the work that she's doing that just it's so modern. I tried to write this about that Radu Jude movie when I saw it, and this movie, if I pull up my review, I bet the way that I phrased it would be a pretty good reflection of how I feel about Eddington, where do not expect too much of the end of the world is not like a movie trying to summarize Twitter. It's not trying to
Yeah.
explain it. Eddington is like taking all of the Twitter hashtags, writing them all down, and trying to explain it to somebody that had never logged on in their life. Now, I
Mhm.
think that that might be a little harsh. This movie clearly is, not stupid. But then you take the Radu Jude movie, and it's like this is a movie that's like retrofitted to our brains, which have been mutated. It is a movie for our times. It is a movie for the way that we think. It is a movie for the way that we talk to each other. It's a movie for the way that we think about each other. This is like the thinnest, most superficial possible version of that. It's like a sticker slogan version of that, to the point that, and I think that that emptiness is like part of his joke. I don't think that he's a dumbass. I don't think that he made something that he did not intend to make. I just could not be, you couldn't pay me to care about this. I will never, ever watch it again without bitching copiously that I'm watching it again.
Yeah, I think sort of my grand thought on it is I've seen a good bit of positive reception to this movie, and there's none of it that I'm like, I just have no idea what you're talking about. I think where you get on or get off with this movie is down to how in tune with its sense of humor that you are. And for me and for Zach, that is like not at all. I think
Yeah,
this is like, I think this must needed to be much more outwardly comedic instead of like Riley, did you get it? I'm making fun of people. Like,
Yeah.
do Blazing Saddles if you're gonna fucking make a crazy dark comedy pandemic western. Like, just
that's
lean into it.
that's where for me, Beau is Afraid, which I was not a fan of, rated negatively, 2.5 stars. But that's where that movie got a little bit of its edge, where there are just overtly absurd, off the wall. I love the thing where like there's all these posters like brown recluse spider in the building, like just these anxiety trigger world that this guy lives in that's just over the top in every single way. This is much more subdued. And in that way, I could see it being much less irritating, much less grating. But for a
It had
movie
the
that has
opposite effect
such,
on me in
for
that
movies
way.
that have such a weighty set of ideas, we're talking about George Floyd, right? We're talking about like these awful things. And
Mhm.
it's fine to be irreverent about that. I get it. I understand. You can do that. But to be this hollow, like to be so superficial, to have nothing to contribute to the conversation, it's like,
Yeah. I
okay,
mean,
man,
the thesis is everybody sucks,
everybody
which
sucks.
which is a
Cool.
thing that I can wake up and turn on the news and glean
Yeah.
within 5 seconds.
It is a
Like,
very 2025 attitude to take because, in the grand scheme of things, the protest didn't work.
nope.
It
It
failed.
is a forgotten movement
We
within
are back to
let
square one, and honestly, probably even worse than where we started off.
it had even less steam by the beginning of 2021
Hmm.
than it did, in 2019.
Yeah, and then everyone hops on to the next script. You move to Florida, you take a picture with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Do you think that photo's real?
I, I don't want to.
Like, where's her review on Eddington? Like, let me see.
It's a good question. Um, I would have to midsummer myself
Well, well, she
if
would
I ever
probably,
find that out.
well,
But
she would probably think that all the shooters during the third act were actually Antifa and not what I thought the movie was doing, which posed them
no,
as agents of Solical Magikarp.
no, it's like 100% crisis actors. They're flying in on a
Yeah,
private jet. Like,
yeah.
it's very overt about that.
Hmm.
Which is just like, oh, so I will. Let's talk about that third act shootout for a little bit. Uh, this movie shot by Darius Kanji.
Hmm.
Their him and Aster's first collaboration, I think, is often handsome but fairly flat.
Yeah.
Like, there's just not a lot going on for the first two-thirds of it,
Hmm.
and then there's this action, like almost Michael Mann-esque shootout sequence that takes
Yeah.
place in like 20 minutes of the third act, where I was like, if I had not been completely asleep by, from the first 2 hours of the movie, I would have been like, oh, this is something. Uh, and it is something in a vacuum. It's very well staged.
Yeah.
Kanji
I
makes it look great.
I did like
Um,
to see that.
Phoenix does a really good job of being like physically ridiculous in that sequence.
Mhm.
Um, and it's
It's
an
funny to watch
interesting,
like the asthma build and also his positive COVID case just build up until he can't move
yeah.
anymore.
Um, and it's an interesting note to end on in a movie that is so sort of deliberate in its pacing, shall we
Hmm.
say, to immediately shoot into this prolonged, I mean, it's an action sequence.
Yeah,
And it feels like it is very indebted to No Country for Old Men in that way, where it's just sort of very
yeah.
stately, like Carter Burwell scored slow hum of a thriller until, the hotel sequence, where it's
Right.
the fucking
Mhm.
Terminator all of a sudden.
Right.
Um, and I feel like that's a specific invocation of that movie, and this has a lot of Coen Brothers DNA, as does Beau is
But
Afraid,
that's
I
such
think.
a great
Take
example
first watch.
of they would make this community feel so much more alive. They would mine so much more personality and humor out of each one of its side characters, no matter how insignificant. You would feel it wouldn't matter. Like this wouldn't they wouldn't get so fucking caught up in like
Hello
the
to an
buzziness of it
all-new
all.
episode
There
of
would
the
be an
First Watch podcast. I'm
underlying
Zach, and I'm here.
normalness and intelligence to the way that it would depict the fact that like life didn't really change all that fucking much. Like it changed drastically, but it also didn't change all that much. Like that's what this is sort of missing to me. Like it just doesn't have a very good, I don't know. Like I kind of started off trying to say that give him some credit. Like he's from a place like this. He's from Santa Fe. And so he sort of gets the small town thing. It doesn't just come across like some coastal guy being like, fuck a small town. But at the same time, it's not feeling alive. It's not feeling like a real place. It's feeling like a farcical place. And that's okay, but that's where I think some of the broadness and overt comedy could have really helped.
Yeah, I mean, if Coen Brothers written this, it would have been funny.
Right.
I mean, if it
Uh,
was a Chris Burn movie, it would be so much better. But
it wouldn't, yeah, it would be shot by Roger Deakins or at least Bruno Del Bono, and not be 2.5 hours long, and probably not star Joaquin Phoenix.
Right.
Um, so there's all that, but comparison is the thief of joy, and this movie stole enough joy from me already.
Yeah. It's just been a downward trend. It's like Hereditary, I like more than Midsummer. I like more than Beau is Afraid. I like more than this. It's like we're just going down the escalator.
I uh, I don't think I can say with a straight face anymore that I preferred Beau is Afraid to Hereditary. I've ended up in a pretty similar place of those where like experientially in the theater, really great things that I experienced. I saw Beau is Afraid in the Opry Mills IMAX in Nashville, which is was a
Mhm.
really great place to see it. Just a completely like sensory overload experience. Um, Neither of them have really stayed with me beyond that.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm a big fan of Midsummer for its the theatrical cut specifically for its sort of variance in emotionality, which I think is something that ever since then and before then, Aster has failed to.
He weaponizes the uncanny really well in that movie. Like
Yeah.
just things that feel off, and you're like, what is happening here, man? I don't like this.
And like that movie is way funnier than Eddington, even though it's sort of like outwardly about much more about grief. Like there are parts where Will Poulter and William Jackson Harper and Jack Rayner and Florence Pugh are tripping balls, and it's funny. It's like Euro Trip for like 3 seconds. And I'm having a great time watching that. And then the horror happens, and you're like, oh, this is not just the one emotion that I felt during this movie. And that's fine if you want to feel one emotion for an entire movie, but I've sort of been a little held at an arm's distance with Aster in general for how monochromatic my emotional response to each of them has been. And Eddington by far suffers the most from that.
I do think that if I went back and rewatched Hereditary, I probably wouldn't like it as much.
Probably
It
not.
was just the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Have you only seen it in the theaters?
I've seen it once in the theaters and like once at home, but I
Yeah.
have not seen it in like 7 years at this point.
Yeah, okay.
I frequently compare it to the Babadook, and there are these things about Hereditary that don't quite add up. It's not quite like it's a clean movie. It's his tightest movie by a mile.
Yeah.
And but in spite of that, it's not like perfectly perfect. You know what I mean? It's not like that exactly. There are these awkward odds and ends. What you would leave thinking though is that there are three, maybe even four. Well, just give credit to our girl Ann Dowd of Leftovers fame. She's
Kevin.
pretty good. She's solid.
Mhm.
But like some, Tony Collette's a little overblown at this point, but Alex Wolff, if anything, is underrated. Gabriel Byrne, like it's just that nucleus of dramatic performances that really hold that one together in a way that just none of the rest of them have that.
Yeah.
Particularly these last two being these one man show type pictures
Yeah. Which
really
is
does not work for me.
which is kind of bizarre because these last two have these really big star-studded ensemble
Yeah,
cast
right,
because
exactly.
as actors want to get on the Ari Aster train. But if it's just going to be the Joaquin Phoenix, La Di Da show, then it's like, ooh,
There's a summer movie that we haven't talked about, which was The Phoenician Scheme, the newest
great
Wes
movie,
Anderson movie.
great movie.
And I feel frustrated frequently by a structure of a movie where it's like, maybe we have one central character who's progressing through it, right? That's usually the way. Where another example for me would be Licorice Pizza. So you got two characters in the middle of it, where it's
Huh?
like, here's Harriet Sansom Harris. She's hilarious. We will never see her again. Bye. Here's this guy, we see Bradley Cooper a couple times. We see like the race. I don't know why I'm sticking on Licorice Pizza specifically, but it's that, people will use Dazed and Confused as a comparison. It's like Dazed and Confused doesn't have a central character. It has kind of two, sorta, but it has this like everybody all in one place over the course of a night, and so characters are doing this, right? It's actually very intricately wound. These movies, it's like, and I like this about a movie like 28 Years Later, so boo on me for not being consistent with this type of thing. But where it just throws a character at you and dismisses them, throws a character at you and dismisses them, throws a character at you and dismisses them. Like, cool, that's a great way to line up a bunch of names on your posters, but I will never remember any of this shit because they didn't matter, right? Like it was there and then the character was gone. They were there and now they're gone. They're there, now they're gone. To
And like
me,
something
that's
that
not a good
even
method.
and even with something that is very much the Joaquin Phoenix show, Inherent Vice, does a way better job of doing what you're talking about. Like there's the Brolin character, there's Catherine Waterston, it's
Right.
just like there's so much more of
Joanne
like a
Newsom. There's like a
yeah,
Sure,
whole Owen
sure.
Wilson plot where they kind of are brought in and they leave and they come back. Like they sort of wind in and out of the story. Now, there's also shit in that movie like Martin Short shows up for a single scene and then disappears, right? That happens, but it's not this repeated thing that it's the only fucking thing happening. That
Right.
starts to grind on me a little bit if we don't have something. It's like I'm glad that Tom Hanks got paid, but why is he here? What
yeah.
why'd we call him?
He can do whatever he wants. He's got time in between voicing Woody.
Yeah. Toy Story 5 coming to a theater near you. When are they
The
doing the live
encore.
action remake of Toy Story? When's that happening?
I feel like Pixar's gonna have to collapse. Like
Yeah, like
totally.
Pete Doctor would have to be fired.
Yeah. Rip.
Although,
Yeah,
I don't know, you could do it stop motion, I guess. That'd be pretty easy.
Well,
I'm exhausted.
Just as exhausted as everyone feels after visiting Addington.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to wear my Better Call Saul shirt to properly represent New
Yeah.
Mexico on this
New
day.
New
I,
Mexico.
I've got a southwestern art in the background, I guess. So
I ain't got shit, but I live in Texas, so that's kind of close.
Casablanca is southwest of somewhere.
Sure.
southwest Morocco.
Right.
Uh,
It's a place
yeah.
where everybody was cooped up and started going fucking crazy a bit. Yeah.
Hmm.
I wish I had a closing thought on Eddington, a way to wrap it up, but I think it's kind of appropriate that it just sort of vaguely fades out, It's not,
Yeah, the movie closes with people are stupid, and our when we close with
Yeah.
that movie was stupid.
yeah, for sure.
Stupid, but so close to working. Which kind of makes it frustrating.
It's frustrating, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. The crazy thing is, I continue to respect Aster for following his own North Star
Yeah, he
and doing
keeps
what he wants
getting
to
like
do,
$30 million out of A24 to do whatever the
which
hell he wants, which is cool.
I admire it. I might like the fifth one less than I like this fourth one and the third one and the second one and the first one, but I'll probably be there because he's interesting,
Yeah,
right?
I'll be there.
He's
He's making a movie for grown-ups no matter what he does.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
that's I can show up for that.
one of our most dedicated neuroses merchants.
Yeah.
yeah.
The other side of Woody Allen.
They'll just rely on Alex Garland to bring in the money. It'll be fine.
Oh dear. I don't like where this is all going.
Elden Ring.
Uh, it pains me
The
less than
movie's
Zelda the movie, but yeah, bad.
Elden Ring is either going to make 800 million or $10.
I'm thinking
And
the latter.
I
yeah,
guess it depends
and
on your.
it's gonna be down to how the trailer looks. And the trailer is probably gonna look like butthole.
Well,
Because
maybe.
if the movie looks good, if there's a bunch of iconography that he does really well, and there's
Yeah.
like good effects and he renders the world appropriately, then people will show up for that. That's like the defining video game
Just
of
get
the
the Green
2020s so
Knight team.
far.
Get the Green Knight team to work on it.
Yeah, it's just it's fucking stupid ass idea. I'm gonna make a 200-hour video game a 2-hour movie. Are you an idiot?
I don't, it's not for me.
Yeah,
Not.
That'll be a fun episode down the
We,
line. Because
I deserve a medieval melee fantasy movie that isn't that.
yeah. The best thing this could be is that boss fight in the middle of the Northmen,
Totally.
just
Yes.
for like 80 to 90 minutes. That's the best thing he could do, and I'd be down for that. You
Yeah.
know what? Just make Warfare. Wait, make Warfare in
But it's like medieval shit.
yeah, in Fantasyland with dragons. I'm down. I'll see that.
Yeah. Well,
I'll see it more than I saw Warfare, which is more than zero.
friends,
It,
it's been fun. There have been
It
some
has.
highs, there have been some lows. We'll definitely look forward to talking with some about some future movies, including some highs and some lows with Spike Lee, maybe later this month. I don't know. That feels like
oh
a great
yeah.
candidate. Caught stealing. My best friend Darren Aronofsky, who's never done anything wrong. Don't look at his catalog. Just avert your eyes. Avert your eyes and look at Austin Butler with the baseball bat. It's gonna happen. Hopefully August pans because there's a lot of really fun potential stuff. So we are really looking forward to the turn of the season. We're looking forward to the fall season, and then eventually we'll be in festival and award season, and it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting when we get to that point because Cole especially, but even Zach are in the position that I am not in, which is they can see some of these movies a lot earlier than I can.
Yeah, no, we
Uh,
will get to the point where I will prattle off about AFI for an hour and you will not be able to see any of these movies until like March.
Right, until February, yeah.
yeah,
The perfect
when
days effect.
when some of them get Oscar nominations.
The zone
The
of interest effect.
yeah. At least that was January. At least
Yeah,
that was January.
that was still so funny though, the way that they
Yeah.
kept pushing it back.
The poster was up for 4 months. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, that's a wrap for this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our new format, new lineup, and we look forward to talking to you again on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Deuces.
Don't forget to take that left turn at Albuquerque.